It's okay. Off your mic, it's okay. Off your mic,
Chai! Now wow, people wey suppose talk truth to power don off mic. And if we talk, now 500,000 they go sama us, call them hate speech. But fear not, my ego don't come. Him go torchlight every corner, nooks and cranny of all these bad people where they spoil our country. So my people make we loud, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. My people make we shout, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, man of the masses, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. My ego diary political, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. This one not the off in mind, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. And in the touchlight every corner, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. Okay, some people be they holla say they want the power. Chai, them be promise us say we go get light and power. Them hustle sote they can't get the power. But now they know they do anything with the power. Every day, dollar just they get the higher power over naira. Still them talk say make we off mind. But thank God say my ego don't come. So my people make you loud, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. My people make we shout, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, man of the masses, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. My ego diary political, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. This one not the off in mind, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. Person where they do evil, no one make person talk. Them say that my egun, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say my egun diary, he dey hot like pepper. But every day then they take money in bulk. Woman picking they the street they hawk. Still them talk say make we no talk. But thank God say my egun don't come. So my people make you loud, oh, yo, yo. My egun don't come, oh, yo, yo. Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun diary Mayebi number one. Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun diary Mayebi number one. Mayegun ti dé o ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú. Mayegun diary Mayebi number one. Lórí Facebook lórí YouTube. Mayegun diary Mayebi number one. Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Mayegun já wa sí. Mayegun diary Mayebi number one. Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun diary Mayebi number one. Bó bá ṣe eré àní Mayegun máa wí. Mayegun diary Mayebi number one. Ó sì tún ṣe eré wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun diary Mayebi number one. Mayegun diary political. Mayegun diary Mayebi number one. Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Mayegun. Mayegun diary Mayebi number one. Ẹ farabalẹ̀ sẹ́ o kẹgọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu o. Mayegun diary Mayebi number one. Àní Mayegun làwa mọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun diary Mayebi number one. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Mayegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Lórí Facebook. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Lórí YouTube. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Bọ́ bàbá gbé wúrẹ́. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Ijó ìgbádìyẹ. Mayegun máa wí. Ẹ̀sìn tó bá rúfin o. Máyégún máa ní. Àní ẹ̀sùn ra jù. Máyégún.
Hello there. Good morning to you. Good afternoon to you. And good evening to you from wherever you are joining us. This is Mayegun Live. Thank you so much for joining me again. Welcome to the Temple of Truth this hour. And I want to implore you to please read beyond the caption of this broadcast. Read the description of the broadcast. Like it. Share it. Invite your friends. Invite your not so friendly friends. Your frenemies. Yes. Tell them that Mayegun today, and I have come with loads of gists. The good, the bad, the ugly, coming from the contraption called Nigeria. A place where people are, they are like striving to make lies become truth. And there is no amount of repetition you give to a lie. It will never be the truth. And because of this, we still have the gullible ones who are those who believes whatever APC, egbekegbe tells them. These are the people that we cannot redeem, irredeemable lots. But to those of you who are looking for answers, who have endless questions to ask about this contraption, Mayegun's Diary Political is a place where you are going to get the answer. Sometimes it may not be the answer you are expecting, but it's going to be the truth that is likely going to set you free if you choose to. Because in Nigeria today, we have odds of voluntary slaves, those who have turned themselves into willing tools, the enablers of the bad behavior in that contraption. So, listen, if you are new on Mayegun's Diary Political, the ideal thing is for you to kind of be a little bit at home. Then you must be somebody who is not a closet idiot, a side barbarian, a bastard, or a bat idiot. Don't be one of those Lagos Abobakus or Oshogbo Alimajiris, the voluntary slaves, the ombud slaves. These are people who are like willing tools in the hands of the lying People's Congress, Al-Qaeda People's Congress, APC, egbekegbe. But if you are one of them, also, I do advise the Ronu Coups, the Ronu Nazis, the Ronu Bandits on Mayegun's Diary Political to stop watching me. Because me, I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. So, for your own mental health, don't watch Mayegun. Don't. Because there's something that is very clear, which some of you don't like to admit. And that is, I do not like anything that has to do with Tifnumbu, APC, and all their cohort. I do not like anything about them, okay? And they don't like me too. It's just that they are hypocrites. Sometimes they want to pretend. You know what I mean? Like, they want to pretend and ask me to be fair. You can't be fair with murderers. You can't be fair with criminals. You can't be fair with a set of, dream killers and their voluntary slaves. Don't be fair to them. On Mayegun's Diary Political, there is nothing fair when it concerns the APC. Egbekegbe, just for clarity. They said that Nigeria is safe, according to these guys, and they kept repeating that, hoping that that will make it true. But it can't make it true. You know what I mean? You cannot be doing what is called the catch and release arrangement with terrorists. And the same terrorists are making a kill, kidnapping your own citizens, killing them, slaughtering them at will, billing them. They're even taxing them at will. And then whenever you capture any of them, then you have a program called Operation Safe Corridor, where you can easily release them back into the wild. Okay, because once they swear by the by the Holy Quran that they will not do it again, then that's it. All the atrocities they've committed, all the killings they have done, all the kidnappings, all the raping and all of that, you know, the ethnic cleansing, so to say, that they have committed, right, can be forgiven once they hold the Quran and say they won't do it again. So that is called catch and release. So no matter how many times you repeat the lies of, you know, of the end of the terrorism in that contraption, it will make it stop. So yesterday, the ISWAP, which have now come out to claim responsibility, they attacked a military base in Borno, where they slaughtered as many soldiers as they could see on site. And then they burned down all the vehicles, the military vehicles, armored personnel carriers. They burned down about 6 armored personnel carriers, APC, you know those things they used in that war. They burned down about 6 of them, military vehicles, buildings, and all that. And then when they were done, the bodies of Nigerian soldiers littered the entire compound. I don't know if you have seen it, but viewers' discretion is kind of advised at this stage. So we're starting with that this evening.
This is our home store. This is our home store. Thank God for life. These people born everything in this camp. Ya Rasulullah Mazallah. Ya Rasulullah Mazallah. Alhamdulillah for life. Thank God for life. Thank God for life. Kai. We don't even know, maybe we have casualty for now. But all our people that entered bush, they are coming back one. Allah continue to guide and protect us.
Sawa meno, sawa soldier. Almost 6 soldier or 7 soldier now. They key for you. Sawa meno. And 200, they key 121.
So the terrorists, in their usual way, they targeted the military post. There is no intelligence report to warn them of the impending attack, because they are treating terrorists in northern part of Nigeria as their brothers. They have the Nigerian army, like they did with the Lakurawas, the Lakurawa terrorists, which is believed to be funded by France and the Tifnumbu's regime as well, according to this Nigerian leader. Okay, the Lakurawas that were arrested by the Nigerian government confessed to the warm welcome and then sort of, you know, a bit of a waiver they gave to them, Nigerian military gave to them in Nigeria. And what was that? Just recently, when this Lakurawa of a thing became public, the chief of defense staff, Christopher Musa from Southern Kaduna, that guy came out and said the Lakurawas were not seen as a threat. They said they were peaceful terrorists. Okay, so Lakurawas that are actually, they are actual, you know, hardened terrorists as well. Since 2018, Nigerian military, the Nigerian intelligence community, gave them a waiver. They called them friendly terrorists, friendly, until recently, when they now claim that they are now going after the Lakurawas, because the Lakurawas have started their ransacking villages, kidnapping people, raping women and children, and converting some areas to ungoverned areas that are part of Nigeria today. They have many of these communities in the hands of different sets of terrorists in northern Nigeria. Nigeria have places called ungoverned areas. Ungoverned areas means there is no presence of Nigeria or government or any of their agents in those communities, and they are within the 12 Sharia states of northern Nigeria. This is like in-house arrangements, okay, that the military, they are willing to come out and defend them in such a way that I have never seen before, okay? Intelligence report is to tell you if you have, for example, if you have an intel for the gathering of a terrorist in any part of northern Nigeria, which is the reason why you actually are, you call the place the theater of war, okay, where you are supposed to have different kind of agents, those who are clothed and those who are not, all right, plain clothes, intelligence, agents who are supposed to kind of prevent or report an impending attack before they happen. But in northern part of Nigeria, that is not the case. A lady was arrested. Well, yeah, there's this other report where a lady or like women are being used to move weapons like, bullets and all that by the terrorists, different kind of terrorists. So in northern part of Nigeria, including the, Nigerian, bordering the Lake Chad, where you have all this Sahel state as well, So Nigeria has no border. In northern part of Nigeria, there is no border there at all, except just a demarcation, just something to say, this is where Nigeria ends. And this is where Cameroon starts. This is where Niger Republic starts. This is, what I mean? Like there is no border. It's just like walk in, walk out. The terrorists walks in, they walk out. So they make the entire border of Nigeria, in northern part of Nigeria, they make it like their base. They can attack Niger Republic from there. They can attack Nigeria. They can attack, ravage communities, villages in Nigeria, and then go back to the Lake Chad. That way, that's how they have been operating for decades. So they have areas where Nigerians are paying taxes to terrorists in that same northern part of Nigeria. And they have been like that for more than 7 years now. Ungoverned areas in Nigeria. You see, those who are Nigerians, they're those who have nowhere to run to. Majority of the inhabitants of the areas, right? Majority of them have moved far away to another place that they consider safe, but they are called the IDP camp, refugee camps. Those are the survivors of all those attacks. Those who couldn't move, they stayed back, and they are forced to cough out hundreds of millions of naira, if not billions of naira, as taxes. So for them to plant, for them to cultivate the land, to grow their food, they have to pay taxes to these terrorists. I'm talking about terrorists that are actually living there. These are not it's not as if to say, oh, they threaten them, okay, and they run into the bush. No. The terrorists are living in those communities as heads of those communities in Nigeria as we speak. But they've succeeded in making it pretty much like a non-issue for some of you in Nigeria by playing it down. Terrorists have claimed lands, territories in Nigeria, and it's been in existence now for over 7 years. Okay, so they initially had the Boko Haram. Then the Boko Haram splitted into two. So they became ISWAP. Then ISWAP also splitted into two. They became ISWAP 1, ISWAP 2. Then the Fulani terrorists also came, who also claim, they also claimed there's some territories for themselves, from Nasarawa to Zamfara, from Zamfara to Katsina, to part of Kaduna, to Sokoto, where Sokoto is controlled by the Lakurawa terrorists. When it comes to the ISWAP, Boko Haram, and then they control Borno straight to the Lake Chad, to the border and the rest of that. And the Nigerian army, who majority of them have been posted there to they call them the war front or something like that, to the front. Apart from the fact that they are poorly paid, right? They are pretty much existing in something like in a blank. Okay, there's no intelligence report, any reliable intelligence report per se, and there's been so much compromise within the same Nigerian army, where repentant terrorists are being readmitted into the Nigerian army, given different names under different operations, mixing them up with the soldiers. So then you have the Air Force. The Air Force, who are supposed to also be a little bit above board. the entire system has become so compromised that you will hear the accidental bombing of civilians by the Nigerian Air Force. A situation whereby whenever the terrorist attacks, the evidence is splashed all over the internet, all over the social media. Or the Nigerian military or their aid, they are more interested in pushing propaganda, fear, threats, especially threats against the citizens who speaks out against them. They will push threats. But when they claim to have killed terrorists, we never really see the evidence. But they are running it with propaganda. They will tell themselves that they have done so well. Everything is fine now. Blah, 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 blah. You know, the saddest part as well is this. There has been so many Nigerian soldiers killed by these terrorists that their family members still believed that they are still alive, but they are dead already. Yeah, I mean, it may be shocking to you, but it shouldn't be shocking to those who have been following the development in that place for years now. Yeah, they've had a situation whereby people or families still believes that they have no, I mean, they believe that their relatives are still alive. Meanwhile, they are dead years now. They haven't heard from them. The excuse then is just to say, well, they have been busy and they are still fighting Boko Haram. Yeah, you know, it is so bad enough that if the terrorists themselves did not actually splash out the videos, the pictures of what they did in Borno State, they could have cooked up another lie to cover it up while lives are lost. Now, right now, the only report we heard is that about 8 soldiers were killed. And this is just because of the amateur video made and released, the one I shared with you earlier. We have no idea. We have no name. See, how can you be a soldier, for example, if any soldier, or as they call it in America, any Marine dies anywhere, whether he dies in America, in service, or he died outside America, a Marine that dies, you will get to know the name. You will get to see the level, the honor they will give to that, the body of that Marine, that you will feel like he died for his country. In Nigeria, have you seen where they packed dead bodies, dead soldiers together before? Have you seen how, then the fact that they can't even give them the honor by naming them, for people to actually get to, to picture their faces and say, oh my God, look at this and look at that. And rather, they will do everything to cover it up or downplay it, except when they want to make a political theater out of it. Like when the, the oil bunkers in Niger Delta clashed with Nigerian soldiers, and then they killed 14 of them in that creek, only for the Nigerian army to wage war against a community of civilians, burn down the entire community, Okwama community, if you remember that. But to justify that, to make it look like you don't touch a soldier, you don't ever kill a soldier, they had to give them this national barrier that was televised. But go and take a look at all the soldiers they are killing every day in northern part of Nigeria. They are just being killed like they are just piece of animal. They are just like an animal, useless or worthless animals. You will never even see their faces in the media. You will never see their names. You will never, nothing to make you feel like you're actually a soldier who died for your country. So if you die for Nigeria, you die wrongfully. So a lady was captured. They said they usually send women to help them mobilize their ammunition. Okay, and here is one of them.
Don't worry, I say we're going to head quarters. I'm commander. Snapper, snapper mo. Dan iska ne. Kaga wana dan iska ne. Ba video. I'll start now. Har mu kula machine na kana zamu kai zuwa headquarter har da kai. Daga wani gari kika fito yanzu? Nan ne ga yammacin Abuja. Kana ji? Yammacin Kusa. Kana ji? Zaka bi mu zamu je headquarter tare da kai. Anka? Daga anka kike zo? Daga anka kike zo da kayan? Daga anka gaba daya. Okay, an aike ki daga anka.
Yayin kariya da go.
Daga anka? Ina miki magana.
Daga nan ne na je anka.
To da kosu da kanki. Okay, tsaya ina zuwa. Tsaya na. Okay, daga anka, tsaya mana. Daga anka ne aka baki wannan?
Daga nan ne aka.
Okay, an baki anan ki kai anka.
A'a daga can anka ne aka.
Okay, an baki a can a anka ki kawo nan. Waya baki a anka?
Ba san sunan shi ba.
Shi wani yare ne wanda ya baki?
Bahaushe ne. Bahaushe ne ban taba ganin huska shi ba yau ɗaya na yari zuwa.
Ke ya sunanki?
Na ce Shamsiya.
Shamsiya. Kina da aure? Yawa. Bro. Ya sunan mijinki? Ka gani ko? Ka gara ki shi ne ta maka. Ai nake aure zama wurin.
Nan da kwarawa.
Sidai sai an ba. Yanzu nan wannan wani kika saukin san yawan su anan?
Wallahi ban taba sanin yawan su ba.
So nawa kina irin wannan abun?
Ban ma taba ganin.
Sami Bila sai God don't give you the vision. So nawa kina irin wannan? God don't give you the vision. Mayu.
Ban taba ba sai.
Don't ce wace. Oga inspector sa hannunki ki dauko mu gani. Kin san wannan yanzu yana kashe mutum ko bai kashe mutum?
Wallahi ni da an tura ni a so ko na san yana.
To daga ina aka tura ki?
Daga nan ne aka tura ni.
Aka ce ki je ki karbo.
An ce na je an so sa.
To me yasa ke kin san sakon da Rama?
Wallahi ban sani.
So nawa kina irin wannan yanzu?
Mai ku so mana.
Na want this for this man. Kana ga wai za su je. Ga fa bana ina Mustafa ne ma. Yawa Mustafa ya bare. Ina zuwa. Kai san this man an baka magana san ci ubanki.
Nan ce ban taba yi ba.
No, ai ko ci wannan. Wannan shi ne na farko ko na biyu.
Shine na farko.
Kin siya sunanki?
Na ce Shamsiya.
Some people they with this woman where they pass this woman. This woman no. Na Samaila. Abin da nake son gane shi. Kin san cewa yana kashe mutum ko sani ba?
Na san cewa yana kashe mutum.
Dama zamu zo yi kwata kana na in take care of this. Kin san ko menene ne? Kin san ko menene ne?
Wallahi ban san ko menene.
Ka san me zan gane ki? Kalli ka. A idon kina san cewa baki da. Wallahi zan ci ubanki. Kabar shi nake kabar.
Nace saboda ban taba yi ba shi yasa na kalle na kalla na ba.
Suwaye suka irin wannan wanda ke san su. Sa wanda yake yi ba.
Idan na ce na san wanda yake yi na
suna da rai. Za ki ji daɗi a kashe ƴaƴan?
Ba na so a kashe su. Wani da na san a haka ne ba zai.
A'a kin sani. Ai abin da yasa na gane ki kin sani. Kin sani dama. No aka ce za a baki da kono.
Kawai ba a faɗa.
Wallahi na anka. Because of the religion, under the cover of a religion in northern part of Nigeria, women are not meant to be searched. Do you understand? Because of the way they dress and the religion itself. So the terrorists, they make use of them in moving some of their petty weapons. Most of the time, when the terrorists attack military base or military posts, they usually do so under their own intelligence report that that particular place, that particular place has some weaponry that they can take. Okay. And therefore, when they are coming with some dreaded, force. But the real ammunitions that these terrorists are using is believed to be supplied by those that are taking all the mineral resources that they are illegally mining in some of the areas where the terrorism actually thrives. Okay? So we have come to establish the fact that if you pay attention to the areas where the terrorists, whether the Fulani terrorists or Lakurawa or ISWAP or Boko Haram, the areas where the terrorism is very strong, they are areas that are, strongly guided by these terrorists. They are areas where mineral resources, are pretty much well deposited. So these are areas where they are doing illegal minings. And the only way they can get control over those mining sites is to, number one, chase away the real owners of the communities, kill as many of them as possible, then chase the rest of them away. So those who usually come in to drop weapons for them, they drop weapons for them in exchange for the mineral resources they are mining from these areas. There has been evidence of that. And that is why when the Nigerian army or Nigerian DSS or this, including your NSA, when they claim that terrorism can never end. It can only be managed. Then you can see their culpability. You can see their own collusion. It was one of, what's this man's name again? Danjuma, who told us then that as a retired chief of defense staff himself, Minister of Defense, Danjuma said that from his own intel, the hills of Taraba, and then the mountain or whatever of the Benue, and all this middle belt parts of Nigeria, that the Fulani terrorists and other terrorists are clamoring to overrun, that they are being kind of like, supported or guided by the top hierarchy of the Nigerian army. Nobody did anything to that man, but he said it openly. He said they collude, because none of these terrorists or terror group could have lasted this long without the collaboration or the collusion of those who are supposed to be in the military of Nigeria, the intelligence community, as well as the government of Nigeria. They couldn't have lasted this long without their cooperation or their guide or what have you. So Northern Nigeria is a place where the life of their people, as well as the life of Nigerians, doesn't really matter to these bloodthirsty criminals that they call political leaders. What I just don't understand is for people who are in the army, like you become so greedy, so selfish, so self-centered that you have to look away and sacrifice the lives of your own soldiers in the course of war. I mean, in the course of this endless terror war. Because that's what I do ask myself. I actually do ask myself that, I mean, as a soldier that, that rose through the rank of the military or what have you, okay? Like, how comfortable is that for you? Enough that some ragtag, disorganized group of, terrorists are running amok across northern Nigeria, and with all the trillions upon trillions of budget of naira budgeted for the defense in Nigeria, right? It became so impossible to get rid of them to the point that under this APC, egbekegbe, you now have over 1,000 communities being controlled by different group of terrorists, and people are paying taxes to them. And these people that are paying taxes to these terrorists, the stories are always making it to the media. Let's say the army don't have all of the resources to track all of these things, right? So what happened to the ones that finally, make it to the media, where you get to know that people are paying taxes? For example, we have just been told that 25 communities in Zamfara have been issued a warning that they must pay 172 million naira in tax in this 2024, or else they will wipe them off the surface of the earth. Now, this is public right now, but nothing is going to be done. So the communities are going to be paying the money. And guess what? If you go online right now, you will see terrorists issued receipts, tax receipts. Yes, terrorists issue tax receipts to people in Nigeria, people who are paying taxes to them. And then you have governments that will tell you that Nigeria cannot break up. But the terrorists have already kind of cut off the territories for themselves, territories where military, what do you call it, the Air Force or soldiers and the rest of them, they dare not visit. This is the reality of today in Tifnumbu's Nigeria. So, Niger Republic came out and said their intel showed that Nigerian ruiner Tifnumbu is in bed with France. And their effort, the effort of France, is to destabilize their country. Rather than them to slow down or possibly just cut off this, this relationship they are building with this French government of Macron, they doubled down. They decided that this, according to them, they felt like, Niger Republic was beating them in the game of propaganda, and they had to double down. They had to increase their own propaganda by tarnishing the image of the head of the junta in Niger. They did so well enough, hoping that the northern part of Nigeria that had the role Tinubu is playing in harboring terrorists in Nigeria, even though he has already told them that it is none of his business. If Boko Haram couldn't keep you safe, don't put it on me. That's why he told some of their leaders. And they heard that. They heard that from him. Okay? And he also told them never to threaten him with 2027 because they never, he bought his 2023 presidency. So they shouldn't even talk about 2027 or them having a control over that, you know. Anyway, Macron came out just today to say something about these Sahel states. According to the proud, arrogant Macron, he said that these countries, these Sahel countries, are chasing the French, the French forces away from their countries. They are just ungrateful people. Because without France, these countries will not even be independent. According to him, he said the terrorists, the different kind of terrorists in the Sahel, they would have overrun these countries if not for the French forces that has been keeping them safe, according to Macron.
Nous avions une relation sécuritaire. Elle était de deux natures, en vérité. Il y a une partie, c'était notre engagement contre le terrorisme depuis 2013. On avait raison. Je crois qu'on a oublié de nous dire merci. C'est pas grave, ça viendra avec le temps. L'ingratitude, je suis bien placé pour le savoir, c'est une maladie non transmissible à l'homme. Mais je le dis pour tous les gouvernants africains qui n'ont pas eu le courage vis-à-vis de leurs opinions publiques de le porter, aucun d'entre eux ne serait aujourd'hui avec un pays souverain si l'armée française ne s'était pas déployée dans cette région. Et j'ai une pensée émue pour nos soldats qui, parfois, ont donné leur vie et pendant des années se sont battus. Nous avons bien fait. On est parti parce qu'il y a eu des coups d'État. Parce qu'on était là à la demande d'États souverains qui avaient demandé à la France de venir. À partir du moment où il y a eu des coups d'État, où les gens ont dit « notre priorité, c'est plus la lutte contre le terrorisme, c'est ceci ou cela qu'importe », la France n'y avait plus sa place, parce que nous ne sommes pas les supplétifs de putschistes. Donc on est...
Because according to him, they were invited. He said they were invited. The only reason why they left is because of this coup d'etat. That's why they now said they don't want them, but they are just ungrateful people. Because if not for France and French forces, the terrorists would have overrun these countries in the Sahel. They are just ungrateful set of people that decided to, they didn't put it that way that they chased them away. They say that we are leaving because of the coup d'etat in these countries. But that's the countries that for 50, 60 years after independence, they remain the poorest, not just on the continent, but in the world. While France kept milking them in such a way that we have never seen before. So, if France thinks that he's done them a big favor by preventing terrorists from overrunning these countries, wow. How come is it that these same countries, they just started building their own military now after French forces have been chased away? How come is it that the France actually controls the kind of equipment they could buy and from where? Simply because having a very strong military is never going to be in the interest of France, because these countries, they were meant to depend solely on France, and they were never better off. Their resources were being plundered, right? While the entire countries, or the countries were left in abject poverty. Those who could play balls, the supposed civilian democratic government who could play balls, they all have their different mansions built for them or palaces built for them in France, while their own people back home have no reliable hospital. They don't have any, good roads or even drinking water. Living in abject squalor. They are living in squalor, in abject poverty. The only people who actually enjoys the presence of France in these countries are their elites. The elites that could play ball, whose share are paid in franc, probably in euro in France. So if Macron feels like he did this West African countries a favor, or France did them a big favor for being there, they may be not being there right now. okay, as they don't seem to actually going to miss the same France. But the same France shouldn't, like, we're only doing you a favor, you say, right? So we don't need your favor anymore. That doesn't mean that you should go back and then conspire to get this country destabilized. They nearly use this Tifnumbu, compromised CIA asset, Tifnumbu, to invade that country. Don't ever forget that. Then it blew on their faces, only for them to begin to, mount a border. Come here, come to Nigeria, come here, come and stay in Nigeria. They are denying that. They are denying that right now, that there is no French forces in Nigeria, when evidence shows that they actually are in Nigeria, training with the Nigerian Navy, with the Nigerian Army, in what they call training them to counter-terrorism training. In denial. I have a video where the Nigerian Army also went to a community, all right, in, I think it's a community in Zamfara, where they went to speak to the young ones about, alerting the authority whenever they see strange movements, and should never make themselves, useful to these terrorists invading their different communities and all that. Listen to this.
Jami'an tsaro ne daga jihar Borno, Borno State Police Command. To muna tare da babbanmu a tare da mu, wanda shi ne komanda na EOD. Mun gani akwai waɗansu na'urorin fashewa wanda yanzu aka yi sami a cikin anguwa, wanda yanzu aka samu ya rikoba da nashi lafiya da muna tare da bulamun ku da yake nan. To shi babban wannan zai wayar da mu ta wajen hanyar kiyaye tsaron mu. Sannu ina kwanan ku duka gida lafiya to sannu ko kun ga an ga mu bai kamata a guje mu ba amma idan mun ce muku a dan masa akwai dalili domin mun ga hatsari dole ne mu tsare abin nan jama'a domin shine aikin mu ko muna tare da bulama kwanakin baya mun zo nan kamar yadda shi PPRO ya faɗi kwanakin ba haka muka zo muka kwashi wasu kayakin fashewa ɗin nan kuma kun san hatsarin da suke da shi wannan an riga an harba abu kaɗan ne kawai hana su tashiwa so yanzu akwai yadda za a taɓa shi in ya tashi ba karamin asari ba ne rayuka da yawa za a rasa zai rusa gidajen mutane da ke nan anguwan so don Allah mu ringa kiyayewa ko kuma mu ringa bawa yayanmu gargadi domin in suna tafiya mafi yawan lokaci sai su gan gongomi karfe da sauransu wanda ba su san wani irin karfe ba ne in ka gan shi kaman karfe amma bom ne yanzu wannan an kwashe ne an zuba mata bayan gida bata san ma waye ne ya je kwaso daga ina bane kuma wannan abu suna da hatsari sosai dan Allah mu bada gargadi ma ƴaƴanmu ko da mu da manya idan mun gan wannan abubuwa din nan mu kiyaye mu kira Allah ya sa muna da bulama yana da lamba nan na da lambansa kuma akwai jami'an tsaro a nan dan Allah sai a kira su sai a kira mu kara taba in an taba din nan wata nan ya tashi gaskiya gara ba abunda ya kamata a ji bane ma belle ma a gani dan Allah a ringa kiyayewa ko kuma in an samu in an gani dan Allah a kira ko gongomi an gani
to beg them, please, we need to you see today there's a report that even though Nigeria lost, how do you describe this? If you have an economy that was the biggest economy in the whole of Africa, rated around $570 billion 10 years ago, and then 10 years after, your economy is now $178 billion. How much losses? How can we calculate that? That's like you losing over 60% of your own supposed GDP. Even though you still have the population, you have a growing population, which practically just mean growing poverty, where inflation has eaten deeper into the fabric of the same economy. So how do you describe such decline in 10 years other than failure? But that is not how the APC, egbekegbe, sees it. Okay, so today, Nigeria's economy is now rated the 5th in the entire Africa. They even used the IMF to push an agenda 3-4 days or so ago, towards the end of, well, just about 4 or 5 days ago. They used the IMF to push an agenda to say Nigeria economy is the second on the continent after Egypt. And then, you know, just to make themselves feel better, only for the real figure to come out today, when the Nigerian economy is actually rated to be around the $179 billion. And it is fact too, because gone are the days when you have a lot of people who had jobs, and then you had a lot of businesses operating in that place. Then you have, even though you had poor people as well, but the number of the poorest Nigerians at the time, 10 years ago, was put at 54 million Nigerians. Fast forward to today, Nigerians, the poorest Nigerians today, or the number of the poor Nigerians today is now over 140 million. But poverty to APC, egbekegbe, and their ass lickers is like a virtue. You know, there's just, God loves the poor. Sort of, you know, if we are poor, then everybody should be poor. How can you be driving a car when me, that I have been working for the past 20 years of my life, I cannot afford bicycle? So if tomorrow they find you walking or trekking, the first they will ask you is that, what happened to your car? Baba, I don't sell that car. Hey. That means we are equal now. Thank God. To them, that's progress. If you tell them that, if they see you, say, what's happened now? You know, I've been seeing you around all this while. Like, what happened? So, they don't, you know, our company folded up, so they just release all of us. Oh, they sack all of you. No, not sack, but the business fold. So you don't get job right now. That's why I've been seeing you around. They say, I don't get job. You just smile, say, we are equal now. This is the kind of life that APC, egbekegbe, calls, that's what they call progress. They want you to, if you're a young man, driving a car, or you have a house, you see some others who are like in their own 40s or 50s, right? Who can't boast of anything. So immediately they see somebody like, they're like, you must be involved in fraud, in drug. So something needs to happen. So when APC, egbekegbe, came in and they started their agenda of impoverishing everybody, so it was like one by one, people started falling into that bracket of poverty. And APC, egbekegbe's, you know, poverty choristers themselves, they felt like it was a good thing. And that's why today you will see some of them tell you that you have been living fake life. The time that you are able to afford your children's school fees, be able to feed your family 3 square meals conveniently, right? Or comfortably before this stiff number. Now that you are struggling, okay, to them, you were living a fake life then. That you had a job. The inflation in the economy is not eating over 70% of your own income. Your currency was not devalued at the time, and you were able to afford this and that. So, and they couldn't, even when the economy was not this bad, they still couldn't feed themselves. So APC, egbekegbe, is like the punisher. So now that you are complaining, they believe that you are all equal. You are equal now. But the corner. Any small, we mama really. Go the waka like this, as if to say in be God. See her now. In no get car again. His business don't fold up. We are all the same now. All of us now, everybody don't become equal. Have you seen how they celebrate that among themselves? We are now equal. We got the corner. All of us are now the same. No big man for Nigeria anymore. Mayegun, it's a big man. Come on, we are all the same now. It is a pride for them that Tinubu even went on TV, remember, and he said his own friend that used to drive 5 limousines has become, the Shege has touched him, which is a pride for Tinubu, that his friend now drives Honda car. So what then happened to those who were driving Honda 2 years ago? What are they driving right now? Like a Benz, Sabi, so that they can tell you that we are now the same, all of us to the Kokono. It's a pride for them. But at the same time, they will also turn around and be telling you that Nigeria is progressing. Now only you know Siam. I say, how can you be celebrating the fall and the economic ruin of other people's lives as a progress? What kind of a country is this? What kind of people are these guys? You know what I mean? Like, you are happy that those who could actually take care of themselves economically, the Nigeria has happened to a lot of them today, that they can no longer take care of themselves. You are happy for that, but on the other hand, you are telling us that everything is fine. Even this Bulaba had to say the reason why a lot of you are not feeling what is going on in that contraption right now, the policies of Tinubu is because una too many. But Tinubu's policies are working. It's just that the reason why you're not feeling it is because you are too many in that contraption. This is what the Bulaba had to say.
To that conversation, so contextualized. The government had touted, which I referenced to one of the gains that you talked about, FX reserve going up to more than $40 billion. You talked about NEL fund on the other hand. You talked about FAC allocation increasing to record high of 1.7. But that is at the bigger or macroeconomic level. But the reality is the fact that the day-to-day living of people has not improved. That is the truth. So when you begin to use words like agenda setting, not speaking to fact, look, Mr. Boala, the truth is that this is Channels TV. We speak to fact. As a person, part of my academic background is economics, so I understand numbers beyond the surface. So we'll put the numbers out.
Okay, so let me respond to that. I have never mentioned any media outlet. It is not in my character to do that. But if the shoe wears, I mean, if the shoe fits, wear it. But what I'm trying to say, when you talked about, you agree with the macroeconomic, progress that we've made, but that it is not reflective in the day-to-day life of the Nigerian people. Now, I'm very happy you also talked about your knowledge and experience in economics. So since you have the depth of knowledge in economics, I believe you must agree with me that before you can see effective change in the day-to-day living of individuals, you have to put in place the fundamentals of economy, the indices that steer or stimulate that growth. And you must agree with me also as an expert in the economics that there is no economic theory that can promise you magic or overnight wonders, except if you think there is any theory that you have come across that can make somebody have overnight wonders.
The issue here is the fact that nobody is quarreling with. Everybody seems to have agreed that there are certain policies that should have come through, but how those policies are managed. So the approach looks like knee-jerk in some instances look tokenistic. That is the challenge. So that is why perhaps, despite some of the efforts we've seen releases of funds, but it's not moving the needle as it should move. So Nigerians are constantly complaining. And whatever model of economics you use, whatever you put out, there's something called being witnesses of personal experience, and that is the reality of Nigerians. So whatever gain you put out, Nigerians don't see it. If they don't see it in when they step out of their houses to buy food, travel by road, or some of this basic at the end of the day. You get my point, right?
I get it, but I disagree in part. Let me tell you why I say I disagree. When you use the generic term Nigerians, the assumption is that there is an assessment in which the majority of Nigerians have said that. Now, I know you don't have a data. You have not pulled any statistical data to arrive at that. So your own is assumption, but the assumption can be a reality given that we have a large population of Nigerians. What I will say, rather, is that the economic model, however fantastic and wonderful it is, it will also take into cognizance population. So, for example, if the population of Nigeria is small, there will be these visible signs that you're talking about within 18 months. Whatever investment you put, if the population is large, you know that the growth will have to be slow. As an economic expert, I'm sure you must have come across this analysis that was given, that for Nigeria to match what is expected infrastructure-wise, there must be on a yearly basis an investment of $10 billion on infrastructure alone. This is economic analysis arrived at by experts in the field of economics in Nigeria. Now, that $10 billion, my brother, if you convert it into Naira, you will see that you're already challenging the entire budget of all the areas that we're talking about in Nigeria. So when you, and that's the very basic of economy, when you have limited resources and then you have things to do, you have to begin to look at which one we can touch now, which one we can talk later. And even those ones that we're doing now, whether it has touched a lot of people. For example, you cannot deny the fact that in December, there was a policy directed by the president that those who were traveling for festive season should access transportation fare for half the price of the value. But because the population is small as compared to the population of Nigeria, you would say that it has not impacted on generality of the people. You can also look at it from example in the area of agriculture. There have been improvement, whether you go to the northeast, northwest, south, or everywhere. But because we have a large population, the impact is not seen in the way you're saying. So I expect contextual intervention from you to say that to either agree or disagree, that population-wise will mean that the growth cannot be very visible at the moment. But we have testimonies, and we have testimonials of people who are impacted by that, and they are ordinary Nigerians.
Now, I first ask you, Olufemi, or what do you call yourself? Is this your first time on Mayegun's Diary Political? Or you just probably want to be like a mad person on this, on this streaming this evening? I am not your presidiot. Somebody is your presidiot. I am not in the what do you call it? I'm not in the midst of your security intelligence. What have you? So you are coming on to somebody's YouTube channel, and you are asking me to set up a better security empowerment in Nigeria. As what? Like as who? As your, I don't even know what to describe it as. So you have your Nigerian army, you have your Nigerian police, you have your DSS, you have your NIA, you have your NSA, you have your presidiot, you have your IG, you have all these guys, thousands of them and trillions of your Naira. And name it, all the necessary equipment to spy, right? To fight. As a country, you have a country that has all this equipment. But you're asking me, a YouTuber, to go and set up a better security empowerment to fight terrorists. So you are not talking about insult. Insult will not solve it. It is not different from those who are going to say to stop hunger in Nigeria, we should go and grow, we should go and start a farm. Do you understand that now? Like say, how many farms have you started, Mayegun? Or somebody will say to stop poverty in Nigeria. You, Mayegun, how many people have you helped? Shoshi platform yani Olufemi abugufe paeni. We are holding those who actually are supposed to be doing the job, whose job it is to protect all of us. Those who claim that they will protect you and me. Then we are now the victims in the hands of terrorists. You are asking me to set up a better security. Africa Wahala. So what, in what capacity would I come and set up security in Nigeria? As what? Like you are making it look like I have to give solution. You know, some of them will say, let us give them solution. Give Tifnumbu solution. So what happened to those people, his advisors that he is paying? What happened to his ministers? Over 13,000 appointees of ease. What happened to them? That my own advice is now what is remaining for Tifnumbu to do what is right. Africa Wala. This is what they do. They say, come and give him advice. Give who advice? Eh? You have people whose job is to keep us safe. They are not doing it. Billions of your naira is being budgeted and siphoned every year. And I'm calling them out. You're asking me to go and set up a better security empowerment. Olufemi. Advice, you are giving advice. So you want me to come here and then start sounding as if to say I am here to advise Tifnumbu? Like they don't even know what they are doing. So do you think they don't know what they are doing? All this looting, all this padding, all this fraud, do you think they don't know what they are doing? So they need to go and watch Mayegun's YouTube so that they can take advice. Eh? Or you just want to sound politically correct, you know? They like doing that. It's been a long time I've seen people like that just jump onto Mayegun's diary political and they will start giving advice. Mayegun, instead of you to give solution, I should give APC, egbekegbe solution. Yeah? Me that want them to continue what they are doing. You see, Mayegun's diary political is actually to show to the rest of you, or people like yourself, Olufemi, all right? People like yourself that somehow believes that what is happening in Nigeria is not intentional. Some of you will believe that, some will say it is some evil spirit. Some will say some evil this and that. But I have passed through that stage of believing that nonsense, okay? And I do not pass that across. I don't pass that on to people here. The ruiners and destroyers of Nigeria, as career criminals that they are, they know what they are doing. The ideal thing is to enlighten the public, enlighten the citizenry, right? So that they don't keep falling for that trickery. So that one day, when that one day go be one day, we can all go for their heads. That's the reason why you are on Mayegun's diary political. I'm not here to give APC, egbekegbe any advice. Because whatever they are doing in Nigeria, they are doing so intentionally. Kosi coincidence, kosi error mbe. Shoshi platform yani. Sholori bruku ishi platform yani. Eh? Asking me to come and start a better security. What would I call that? Nnamdi Kanu started a security in Nigeria. What did they do to him? Eh? How many people have they killed? When Nnamdi Kanu set up the Eastern Security Network in Nigeria, how many of you called for his head? Eh? How many of you believe that the same ESN that is set up is the one that is causing insecurity in Eastern Nigeria without evidence? How many of you believe that right now? Eh? And you know the Bruku Jati. So you are coming to Mayegun's diary political to come and advise Tifnumbu. Me advise Tifnumbu. Abike gbogbo nje keshori Bruku gbogbo blue. Kedano sunrayin. Eh? You're asking me to give advice or set up security. Set up security. As what? As the premier of Western region. Abibao. Or maybe I will just call myself the premier of Yoruba nation in exile. Maybe that's, I can just call myself the prime minister of Yoruba nation in exile. So that I can just set up Africa Wala, you go be the minister of defense. Yeah? You'll be minister of defense. Princess Balogun will be the chief of naval staff. Who else is there? Yomi Totu. Maybe I can make you the chief of defense staff. So that we can set up our own security. Is that what you mean? Then type more advice Lojuare. Advice who? I should advise Tifnumbu. Maybe we can now kind of start it all over again. You're asking me to advise. Advise who? Ashiri. Oh, Koshida, no, ever last plan, Molori, please. I don't want to see somebody like that around here. That's not what you kind of advise. It is, number one, it is nonsense. You don't ask a private person to go and set up security. Set up security for who? Eh? Olani, what would you like to be? Air Force Marshal. Eh? the National Security Advisor to the Prime Minister, Mayegun, Prime Minister of Yoruba Nation in exile. All right? And then we can set up our security and all that. It's mockery. It's absolute nonsense. What I'm doing here is to expose them. They already have all it takes to keep us safe. But the politics of it, the greed, then the corruption, especially the corruption of it, is the reason why you and I are having this conversation today. If everybody is doing their own job, if they are doing their job, and if you're not doing your job, you get sacked. But if Numbu and his gang, they don't give a damn about any of you. It's just all about themselves. So everybody is having their own field day there. So until I am interested in the entire system collapsing, okay, and then all these guys hunted down one by one, share you get now, and give them the justice that they deserve in what they have done to this contraption Nigeria. That's what I am after. I'm not after you pretending to be advising people. You know, you can only, they say you can only wake somebody who is sleeping. And it also Akpirora is somebody who is pretending to be sleeping. They are not sleeping, they're just pretending to be sleeping, like. And you're waking them. Mayegun, Mayegun, Mayegun. Like that. That's somebody pretending to be sleeping. That's exactly what you have in that contraption. Everybody knows what they are doing. They all know what they are doing. And that is why, I mean, except the entire system actually really collapse on their heads, when the whole thing kind of like go up in smoke, right? They don't deserve anybody's advice. Do you think they don't know what they are doing? They do. So my wine meal, if you see have any Femi nonsense on this place, please get out of here. All right. So going forward, right? You have the likes of Wike, who is pretty much living like he's a law unto himself. You understand? So somebody like that and people like that are those around Tifnumbu. So what kind of advice do you want to give him? Eh?
Maybe, take for example, I pity Secondus. He didn't understand English. That's what we can do. We cannot carry arms. We cannot go and shoot. Gone. Forget traditional rulers. If you follow them, you won't go anywhere. If anything happens now, they'll be the first people in your house. I've told you that severally. Even religious leaders, I hardly close my eyes when people are praying now. Because I don't know what they will pray. Whether an attacker will come when I close my eyes. So I always open my eyes. Because, you know, you find it so unbelievable when I hear and see what is going on. That people can just change overnight for nothing. For nothing. So, just be calm. There must be something that will happen in this state that everybody will know that the movement that's going on is not a party movement. It's not a party movement. It's a movement that you will see. Forget about people claiming this and this. After all, they gave rice, you gave rice. It's not correct. They gave cow, you gave cow. It's not correct. They gave pepper, you gave pepper. No, so. So what is all this talk. So, we are prepared. So I want to thank all our leaders. The way you came back home. The way you came back home, went to your various communities and localities. That's what you are supposed to be doing. Their envy is nothing but we had a presidential endorsement. If I tell you they are happy, they are not happy. May God ever not make them to be happy in their life. We will continue to get more presidential endorsement. Anywhere they are now, watching all the televisions live, they have 250/200 high blood pressure. You'll be happy. And let me tell you, as you have entered this year in Abuja will be different than last year. You will see development in Abuja. Nobody can distract us. And wherever you are, pray for Mr. President. Do you understand me? Pray for Mr. President. We'll continue to support him. Others, they say, what it means that if President tells me to step down. You're comparing two different things. You don't have the balls, President never told you to step down. Fear of the FCC. What's that? You say President told you to step down. Well, you're not prepared, prepared.
Criminal like that is in government. But when you see the typical closet Ronukus, where the Wike is a great politician, where the Wike is where the Wike fits them. Especially the fact that he's on the side of Tifnumbu, a criminal like that who should be in jail. But he's a minister, wrecking more havoc like a wrecking ball. So you want me to advise people like that? He took a dig at I think this one was against the GOs. He said he doesn't close his eyes when they pray anymore because he doesn't trust them. Practically, he doesn't trust them. They don't trust themselves. Then this one.
Money. I have nothing to lose. I have a budget to present to National Assembly through Mr. President. I have nothing to lose. I give out contracts. So what's my business? Yes. Yendeba. Yes. I give an appointment. And to crown it, I give her lands. So what is every time? Red Barrow. Which Red Barrow? Look at assembly members. You thought they would die of hunger. Are they dying of hunger? Are you dying of hunger?
And he also took a dig at Uche Secondus. He said maybe Uche Secondus doesn't understand English.
Maybe, take for example, I pity Secondus. He didn't understand English language. That's why he couldn't pass from Stella marriage. If he passed from Stella marriage, you would know that I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything. Secondus did not pass Stella marriage college. Don't mind them. So I didn't say anything. Maybe because he did not understand simple English language. That's why I said, what did I apologize? What do you want me to apologize? What did I say? What I said is that, look, I hear and I read somebody who said should be our elder statesman said this thing today and he said a different thing tomorrow. And I said, no elder statesman should say that. And the elder statesman didn't say, I didn't say so. If he had said he didn't say that, I would have apologized. But he didn't say that, he didn't say so. So are you killing me for advising my elder statesman? No, don't do that. If he says so today, don't say that tomorrow. Did I say bad? Did I abuse anybody? So what did I do? I also never said that I built mansion for our elder statesman. I said our elder statesman was the one telling people the kind of mansion and castle I built. I didn't say I said so. So listen. I didn't say I said. I said our elder statesman was carrying people, showing them according to whom you are. Build mansion, build castle. Is that what I said? So it is not me who said. It is the man who supported the elder said. I said so. All you should have done is to go to the elder statesman yourself. Why you go talk like that? I don't understand. I have never come to anybody. I never went to any television to say I did this, I did that. I said, look, you're the one who was going about telling people what we did, what I did. And how do you go back now to those people? That's what I said. And you want to kill me? Is that proper? Nuisance, Lele.
So that's the Wike, the kind of people around Koolu with impunity, stealing people's lands, giving them to his friends, invalidating people's documents, and then giving their lands to his own friends. And he said, "Do you want me to give the lands to my enemies?" They said, "I gave land to my friends. Do you want me to give the land to my enemies?" That's the level of impunity in the system. And those are the people who are riding the system that will eventually collapse. Sooner or later, it's just going to be a matter of time. That one is certain. So you don't advise your enemies when they are destroying themselves. No, you let them do it. When they are digging their own graves. The elites, political elites in Nigeria, they have gotten to the stage whereby they see themselves like the alpha and omega. If you speak up or speak out against their actions or inactions, right, you are automatically tagged enemy. They will say you are enemy of Nigeria. If you criticize them, if they have a chance of clamping down on you, they will do it with so much gusto. And that is the kind of people we are dealing with. So the real enemies of Nigeria are your political class and the elites. The ones that are making policies, decisions, whose decisions and policies affect millions of lives. So they are the enemies of the people. And as it is, they have gotten to that stage where they feel like, maybe only God can stop them. Nothing can really stop them anymore. Okay? So they control the judiciary. They control the police. They control, they nearly control the media too. So that's the kind of people we are dealing with. Where you have the propaganda arm of the government trying to force what is not real on the people. And they want them to accept it. You have to accept it. That's the truth. But it's not the truth. What you're saying is not the truth. So if you say no, then they want to get rid of you. So what you have to do is kind of like enlighten the public while you allow them to continue to run on that, their propaganda and belief. It has gotten to a stage where even they are believing their own lies. Do you understand what that means, right? If you are doing something wrong and people are saying, "Oh, this is not right, this is not working," or you are convinced, you're personally convinced that no, you are right, it's the right thing to do. That's dangerous. So all you have to do is just let them do it as they are. So I don't have any advice for them, and I will never advise them, by the way. I won't, because there's no point. They have to continue in this line, self-destruct button, until they destroy themselves. And it's going to happen sooner or later, okay? It's just going to be a matter of time, right? So now let's leave with a wiki a little bit. and then take on the direct victim, another victim of a system. So this young guy is a student in Ekiti, from what I heard. Now, on his way to go and pay his own tuition. This time around, it is the turn of not the police, not the army. It's the turn of the NSCDC, the civil defense guys that stopped him for no reason. They extorted him, brutalized him, and here is his own story. Please watch this.
How are you, my brother? What is your name? Okay. Today, 6/1/2025. What happened between you and civil defense officers?
I was coming from my sister's shop this morning. So
which of your sister?
My sister.
What's your name?
So alongside Agilosun opposite Haram market. So civil defense, they were topping their tire alongside with Foga. So when I was,
you can speak Yoruba as well.
When I was coming from, let me just say Agilosun alongside Geopolitical junction, and they have to stop me and my sister, and they asked me where am I coming from. I have to tell them that I'm coming from my sister's shop, and where are we going to? I said we are going to school because I wanted to go and pay for my school fees, and I'm looking for a house to rent because we have resumed.
Which school is that?
Federal Polytechnic. So they were asking me that, what am I? They were asking me that, who are you? I said I'm a student, and they said where am I going to? And I explained to them. So after that, they checked my bike, they checked everything.
This is the bike, right?
Yes. And they can see my ID card. They can see everything inside the bag. So one of them asked me that I should go and see their boss, and I said okay. When I got into the car with them, so their boss collected my phone, and instantly he was checking all my mobile app, the click on everything.
Were you the one who was opening your mobile app, or they were the one opening it themselves?
The phone is in his hand.
They collected it forcefully?
Yes, he collected my phone, and they asked me to open it. I was trying to collect his phone to open it myself. He said no.
Open it like the password?
Yes, the password. Okay. So I said no. He said no. He has to put the phone on my face so that my phone is going to be unlocked. So when everything unlocked, he went through all my mobile app, both my Kuda, OP money points, and he saw nothing because I have zero. I have nothing in my account. So he was asking me that where do I keep my money? I said I don't have any money alongside with me because they tried to check all the phones, and they found my Fidelity Bank. Whereas my mom sent me school fees around 24th of December for my school fees, and we are paying 138,000 for our school fees, and our acceptance fees is 47,500. Alongside with my house rent and everything is there. And I told them that this morning I was not the one that got to myself that it's for my school fees and my house rent. They said he doesn't have any business to do with me, that he's going to take me to the office. So when alongside we are going to the office, he was telling me that when he called me in the first place, he told me that okay, what are we going to do now before he took me to the office. I said, sir, I doesn't have anything. He was just trying to tell, okay, let's go to the office then. We are going to go.
Why was he telling you that he will take you to the office? Did he tell you any offense you've committed?
No, I did not offense any. I did not offense him because I was just going. Me and my sister was just going to the school because we are alongside of Agilosun, and that's the expressway. So I don't think we expect they are going to stop me on the expressway. So they have to walk into the road and stop me. So when I stopped, they asked me that, and I explained everything to them. They even checked my bike and they found my ID card. And they found my ID card.
Where is the ID card?
ID card is here.
You show them your ID card as you're a student, or
yes.
what?
Yes, I'm as a student. This is my ID card as a student.
Okay.
So after that, when I got to their office, so we meet their boss, and the thing that what he said is that he said, why do you took this guy alongside? They said they said nothing. So and the next thing is that their boss told me that give him back his phone and give him back his stick so that he should release him. So after that, when I was coming back, they stopped me at the gate to sign and to pay for the release. So that's all.
Release of?
I don't know. They just told me that they have already written my bike number and everything. They have already written.
How much did you not pay in the office?
I paid them
2,000. Okay. When they stopped you here at Agilosun that you are talking about, did any of them ask for your phone?
Yes, immediately they stopped me. they didn't even allow me to say any other thing than to ask for my phone, and they collected my phone immediately. So after that, they took me into their car, and they said they are going to carry me to their office. So
for what?
Then, I don't know my friends. They just took me. They said you are carrying me to the office. I said, what do I do? They said, when you get to the office, you are going to explain yourself what you did. I said, okay, sir. So alongside when we were in the car, they started checking all my mobile apps. They click on my Kuda, OPay, money points, they found nothing because I don't have any money in my account. The only money I have in my account is in my Fidelity Bank, whereas that's the money my mom sent me for my school fees and my house rent.
The lady at your back who was crying because it was her cry that got me alerted that something was happening. Yes. Who was the lady to you?
The lady is my elder sister.
Okay.
In the first place.
How are you, my sister? Please, in brief or briefly, can you narrate what happened this morning? Sharp.
We're going to Tradeau. He wants to go and pay his school fees and he's looking for the house to rent. So he took me from my shop. My shop is at opposite Agricultural junction. Yeah. So on our way to Tradeau, we saw those 6-year office. They were pumping the car with organized at the opposite.
Because Nigeria can happen to you just anywhere at any time. It's only maybe 1 out of 1,000 of their victims a day makes it to the internet. And then you have a chance of possibly hearing the story and you'll be like, God damn it, man. It is a place where dog eats dog. Their policemen, their military, even their paramilitary, the civil defense corps, they are poorly paid. I'm talking about poorly paid. So it's the citizens that will bear the brunt. And right now in Nigeria, the only language that majority of them speaks right now is money. And just anyhow, anybody can extort you. And for those ones who have guns, well, they just have to apply some forces, some force in order to extort you. They do stop and search everywhere you turn. It is not because they want to stop crime. You know, like they will tell you that police have the right to search. Then on the other hand, they will say, no, police doesn't have any right to search your phone. Well, their modus operandi, searching you, is mostly not because they want to end any crime or they are investigating any crime. No. It's basically just to find something and then extort you for it. So if you have money to pay them, you pay. And if you don't, maybe you just end up being a bad market. Some people have become so unlucky that they just have to rope them into something, lock them up, put their family members in the serious problems of looking for money to come and bribe them. This is what it is like every day. But you see, those who have not been their victim or not their present victims may think you are possibly overreacting somehow. It is a dangerous place, put it that way. Because it is a society where even when other people are seeing you being harassed, being threatened by these armed, uniformed criminals, they just tend to want to mind their own business. They will be walking around and walking away like it is none of their business. So you just realize that you are on your own. And that may be one traumatizing experience that you're going to have from the people who are supposed to actually provide security, support, help for you. You are supposed to be able to walk to the NSCDC or walk straight to the police men on the road and ask for help and say, please, officer, I'm trying to look for so and so, and a police officer will like assist you. That is not in Nigeria. You walk to them, you walk into trouble. Because what they are looking, once they look at you and they size you, then the next thing that is going to be going on in their head is going to be how to extort you. So NSCDC too. It's unfortunate, isn't it? While the real thieves actually celebrate like tomorrow, no day. It's unbelievable. Earlier today, when Showore was at the magistrate court in Lagos, so he saw some group of Nigerians awaiting trial. They're called. Some of them have been on awaiting trial for years. Okay, and these exchanges took place. It is a contraption, guys.
The people who supposed to for prison for this country and those who waiting for government. But you look familiar, you look like Sowore. Yeah, I mean. Now, Kirikiri na come from. Kirikiri have been out. The people who supposed to for prison for this country and those who waiting for government. But you look familiar, you look like Sowore. Yeah, I mean.
People who are supposed to be in prison, now them their government. True. The people that are supposed to be in prison, they are the ones in your government. They are the ones being protected by the poorly paid security agents or officials, and that is the contraption for you. Now let's take a little break. You see, this takes me back to that Mofo Olufemi or whatever he called himself, right? If you ask for a job and you are unable to do the job, you see, the honorable thing is for you to resign. If Tifnombu cannot keep you safe, the right thing and the honorable thing is for him to resign. But a typical Nigerian is like, no, that's not possible. How can you say you should resign? Resign, Bawo. You know, but it's his own turn. Ain't go making chop, waiting one chop. Everybody go find their levels. But they do celebrate when they read it in the news that some leaders or one person resigned as a leader of his own country. You know what I mean? Take, for instance, African Wahala, your own Prime Minister, Justin Tradeau, yeah, the leader of the Liberal Party of Canada, who has been in power for how many years now? I think he's been in power for about 7 years or so. Is it up to 7 or 6? Tradeau. Now, his own public rating has plummeted so much that when he came to power in Canada, right, his public rating was put at somewhere around the 69%, which means 69% Canadians actually wanted him. Today, this Tradeau guy, Justin, is public rating in Canada today is hovering around 29% to 32%. He personally knows that he has now become a burden for his own political party that they will lose in any election if they should call for election right now in Canada. What did he do? He threw in the towel. Not become so greedy, self-centered, what do you call it? Aggrandizement or so. It's no. So what did he do? He threw in the towel and said, well, you know what? I can't really lead you to an election, or else we'll be trounced. And that is making the news this afternoon, early this morning in Canada.
So I thought it might be fun for us to do this again. Bon matin. Every morning I've woken up as Prime Minister. I've been inspired by the resilience, the generosity, and the determination of Canadians. It is the driving force of every single day I have the privilege of serving in this office. That is why, since 2015, I've fought for this country, for you, to strengthen and grow the middle class. Why we rallied to support each other through the pandemic, to advance reconciliation, to defend free trade on this continent, to stand strong with Ukraine and our democracy, and to fight climate change and get our economy ready for the future. We are at a critical moment in the world. Mes chers Canadiens, à chaque matin,
every morning, I've woken up as Prime Minister, and I've been inspired by the resiliency and the generosity and the determination that characterizes Canadians. This is what has driven me on a daily basis, and it's been a privilege to be Prime Minister. This is why, since 2015, I've fought for this country, for you, Canadians, to strengthen the middle class. That's why Canadians mobilized to support each other during the pandemic, to move reconciliation forward, to defend free trade on our continent, and to support Ukraine and democracy, and to fight against climate change as well, and to prepare the economy for the future. We're really going through a critical time in world history.
My friends, as you all know, I'm a fighter. Every bone in my body has always told me to fight because I care deeply about Canadians, I care deeply about this country, and I will always be motivated by what is in the best interest of Canadians. And the fact is, despite best efforts to work through it, Parliament has been paralyzed for months after what has been the longest session of a minority parliament in Canadian history. That's why this morning I advised the Governor-General that we need a new session of Parliament. She has granted this request, and the House will now be prorogued until March 24th. Over the holidays, I've also had a chance to reflect and have had long talks with my family about our future. Throughout the course of my career, any success I have personally achieved has been because of their support and with their encouragement. So last night over dinner, I told my kids about the decision that I'm sharing with you today. I intend to resign as party leader, as Prime Minister, after the party selects its next leader through a robust, nationwide, competitive process. Last night, I asked the President of the Liberal Party to begin that process. This country deserves a real choice in the next election, and it has become clear to me that if I'm having to fight internal battles, I cannot be the best option in that election.
Did you hear that? I cannot be the best option. Canadians who have been under the government of Justin Tradeau for 9 years, it's been 9 years since 2015, right? They will agree. Say, well, you should have been gone. Some will say it should have been gone by like a year or two ago. That only stayed this long. But when he realized that him staying even any much longer would not only affect Canada, so it will not only affect his own party's chances in Canada, it will affect the country as well. It is un-African, we agree. So it is something that those of you who want us to advise the failing criminals in charge of Nigeria, the only advice you can give to them, is not by giving excuses for them. The only advice you can give to them is what? Is for them to kind of like, bow out, ease out. You've ruined this contraption. You've destroyed this country. You've destroyed these people. You've impoverished them. But you are giving yourself medals. Medals that you have done well. That if not because of you, things would have been worse. Things are worse already. An economy of $572 billion 10 years ago. Today is less than $180 billion. And the inflation has eaten so deep into people's, into people's wallet that their lives have become so halved, if not quartered. But yet you are kind of like telling yourselves that you're doing well. writing budgets that continue to buy yourself cars. Imagine they spent in 2024, right? They spent 8 billion naira renovating the Asshole Rock. In 2023, they spent 5 billion naira renovating the Asshole Rock. In 2024, they spent 4 billion naira renovating a house for Shitty Man in Lagos. In that same 2024, they spent 21 billion naira completing a mansion for Shitty Man. He hasn't lived in that mansion till now. The one that with the wicked spent 21 billion. Oh. Meanwhile, the Abuja house, where he is supposed officially lives, right? They spent another 6 billion naira renovating that in 2024. In 2025, they want to spend another 4 billion to renovate Abuja house. They want this 21 billion house where they just built for Shitty Man. In 2025 budget, they want to spend 7 billion naira to renovate the house. Papa house where they just completed last year. Tifnumbu is planning to also spend 9.5 billion naira on travel, food in 2025. In 2024, he spent over 8 billion on that. But when it comes to the people, they want you to adjust. And the opposition, shall I say, listen to an opposition in Canada.
Good day. Canadians desperate to turn the page on this dark chapter in our history might be relieved today that Justin Trudeau is finally leaving. But what has really changed? Every Liberal MP in power today and every potential Liberal leadership contender fighting for the top job helped Justin Trudeau break the country over the last 9 years. All Liberal politicians actively worked to pass into law the job-killing inflationary carbon tax, a tax that Carbon Tax Carney endorsed in his book. All supported a law quadrupling the tax over the next 5 years. All voted for or actively supported Trudeau's out-of-control spending, debt, and immigration. All passed Trudeau's housing policies that doubled the cost of homes. All Liberal politicians helped pass catch-and-release bail and house arrest for the most rampant reoffenders. Policies that increased violent crime 50%, gun crime 116%, and hate crime by 250%. So given that Liberal MPs and leadership contenders unanimously supported everything Trudeau has done, why dump him now, right before an election? Have they had a change of heart? Is it because they feel guilty that they doubled housing costs, hiked taxes, unleashed crime, broke immigration, forced a quarter of the population into poverty? No. They continued supporting Trudeau when he did all of those things. No, their only objection is that he is no longer popular enough to win an election and keep them in power. They want to protect their pensions and paycheck by sweeping their hated leader under the rug months before an election to trick you and then do it all over again. Now, while leaderless Liberals focus on saving their jobs and fighting each other for power, the country spirals out of control, an out-of-control housing emergency, an out-of-control migrant crisis, an out-of-control $62 billion deficit, not to mention tariff threats from the United States. Oh, and another NDP Liberal carbon tax hike kicks in this April 1st. Everything's out of control, and now the government is out of control. This cannot go on. We need a carbon tax election now to choose between the NDP Liberal costly coalition that taxes your food, punishes your work, doubles your housing costs, and unleashes crime and drugs in your community, or common sense Conservatives who will axe the tax, build the homes, fix the budget, and stop the crime. Canadians can take back control of their lives and their country. Take back control of our border. Take back control of immigration. Take back control of spending, deficits, and inflation. Take back control of our streets by locking up criminals, banning drugs, treating addiction, and stopping gun smugglers. We'll cap spending, axe taxes, reward work, build homes, uphold family, stop crime, secure...
Like that. So I picked up that video as a reaction from the supposed main opposition, the African Wahala. I think that is your own conservative party in Canada is you know, is like a model after Donald Trump, kind of conservatism or so, right? Anyway, it seems that he is going to possibly be the one to form the next government in Canada. If the permutation of the Labour and the Liberal and the rest of them in Canada with Tradeau should fail in your next election, I think, right? Anyway, that's an opposition way of doing the Western way of being opposition in politics, okay? Where when it is time for you to tighten the rope in the neck of the failing people in government, you tighten it with no mercy. You grab it in such a way, that in a ferocious way, that they must not survive it. Because, yeah, your own political survival and possibly your country's survival depends on it too. You know? And yeah, today, talking about Donald Trump, today, again, the 6th of January, where Kamala Harris had to endorse the November 4th presidential election that brought Donald Trump back to the White House before the inauguration in 2 weeks' time, the 20th of January, I think. So at the Congress earlier this morning, again, just on foreign side, okay, Kamala Harris.
The state of the vote for the President of the United States, as delivered to the President of the Senate, is as follows. The whole number of the electors appointed to vote for President of the United States is 538. Within that whole number, the majority is 270. The votes for President of the United States are as follows. Donald J. Trump of the state of Florida has received 312 votes. Kamala D. Harris Kamala D. Harris of the state of California has received 226 votes. The whole number of electors appointed to vote for Vice President of the United States is 538. Within that whole number, a majority is 270. The votes for Vice President of the United States are as follows. J.D. Vance of the state of Ohio has received 312 votes. Tim Walz of the state of Minnesota has received 226 votes. This announcement of the state of the vote by the President of the Senate shall be deemed a sufficient declaration of the persons elected, President and Vice President of the United States, each for a term beginning on the 20th day of January 2025, and shall be entered together with the list of the votes on the journals of the House and the Senate. Thank you very much.
So everyone now looks forward to the inauguration of Donald Trump, and the world will not remain the same after that. Just remember. But let's leave America and come back to Nigeria. Today, the Oyo State Governor, Solomon Kinde Ibadan, one of the 5 G-string governors attached to the, to the bosom of Wike, spoke on the tragedy that took place in Ibadan last year. Yeah, a few days to Christmas, when children died. 35 of them died in a stampede in Ibadan when a good Samaritan was trying to help the poor. But due to the poor organization and the arrangement, so to say, 35 children lost their lives. And the former wife of the honey of Ife, as well as, a radio host, online personality, Oriyomi Amzat, have been arrested, and they have been remanded in prison custody since that time by a court in Ibadan. So to the Solomakinde Ibadan, no matter how anyone feels about this, he believes that this duo must face the wrath of the law. In his own words, Solo.
35 innocent souls were lost. Ọlọ́run ní jí kárírú ẹ̀ mọ́ ní Ọ̀yọ́ State o. Quite a number of people, they've been reaching out to me, saying, oh, this thing happened in Anambra State. It happened also FCT. Nobody went to jail. Why is it in Oyo State that some people are going to jail? I said, well, Oyo State is not Anambra State. And no matter how highly placed, justice must be done. Judiciary 1B, it's in their court. If you think you can grant bail pending the trial, I don't have anything against it. But trial, the people must go on trial. So people come to me, and I've been saying to them, Oyo State, even if this entire country decides not to follow the rule of law, Oyo State, we will dare to be different. 35.
So that's in Solomakide's words, in his own words. So we shall then look forward to what the judiciary will do, even though I would expect it seems so complicated, right? But on behalf of the children killed, okay, I would want to see a class action. Class action is when you can institute a case against the Oyo State government, and a huge compensation has to be paid. People has to be sacked from the local government level, whoever granted the approval for that facility to be used and all that stuff, without considering the health and safety stuff, right? Then Oyo State government has to pay huge sort of a compensation to these families. Then again, on the other part, you see the mother, or those who actually had to take their children to such place and then be throwing their children over the fence. There should be some negligence case against such people as well. Round them up, arrest them, and try them for manslaughter too. In my own opinion, or it might be too much to ask, in a confused, lawless contraption like that. Yesterday, I shared with us the level of criminality that people actually engage in that contraption. You see, people were stealing manholes in Abuja, and they were selling them as scraps in a market in Abuja. So this morning, a group of guys called the task force in Abuja visited the market, a scrap market, where they actually discovered all the manholes stolen from the main road by these guys on your screen. These are Boko criminals on your screen. And this was how that went.
Carry this one outside. Okay. I'll see how long it plays for. Look at pot. There's one broad pot here. I know that the pot is
The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory has done a good work in providing infrastructural development to the FCT, which the residents are happy over and they are expectant in 2025. But unfortunately, people with evil intention have decided to be removing the manhole cover along the road paths. And this has created, like on the first, it led to an accident of a family because they never knew that the manhole cover on the road have been removed and their car mistakenly entered that. And also it has caused a physical injury to people who are just walking past. And this is criminal enough. And the administration is concerned about this. And that is why the FCT Commissioner of Police had a strategic meeting with every other relevant security agencies today. And they are out there today through the Joint Task Force to ensure that the raid of every pantaker within the FCT is raided. And we also know that pantakers are not meant to operate within the FCC. So that will be enforced drastically, you know. And also we want to assure the residents of FCT that those criminal elements already will recover some of this manhole, which the Commissioner of Police will be briefing further. And we also have suspects that have been arrested already. So it is a good step in the right direction that the agencies are.
So it's a good thing. Okay. So that's one good advantage of the social media as well. So these were supposed to be guys who are buying condemned irons, you know, or rather, they would rather just go and steal it from, you know, government public structures. So I kind of proposed yesterday that if these guys were caught, that they should kind of sentence them to either death or just life imprisonment. And also, they should possibly even check their brains. Do you understand? Because sometimes this might be people with mental disorder, you know, mental health issue, so that we don't kind of punish them with what is pretty much like a mental disorder, because nobody with their right senses will go on and remove the railings that is put on a bridge or remove a manhole to block a manhole cover to cover a manhole on the main road, right? No sane person should be doing that. So this might be lunatics on the part, but if they are not mad, if they are not lunatics, right? If they are not really like a crazy people, then they should be sentenced to death without parole or life imprisonment without parole. They should not be living within any human. Unfortunately, there are more worse criminals though in that same contraption that's you know, that are working free. You know, I do have man, everything just went so fast. I see a few things to share with us before we call it a night, you know. And I want to take calls as well. I want us to have a phone call this evening so that it's been a while, you know. Okay, you know what? Let me share this with you, because Koolu is currently in Ghana. Tomorrow they will be doing the inauguration of John Mahama Dramani that defeated the incumbent government of Ghana, led by Nana Akufo-Addo. So in an election that is kind of like reported to be free and fair, you see, like APC, egbekegbe did in Nigeria. Similarly is what Nana Akufo-Addo's party did in Ghana. They destroyed Ghana economically after promising to make the country better when they defeated the same John Mahama 8 years ago. But Ghana is now worse off than the John Mahama that they used propaganda to get out of power. So that John Mahama is back right now, even though it seems that that one hasn't really learned much is Tifnumbu Sepal is already telling the Ghanaians that they should fast and pray because the roads ahead is going to be tough. I said, fast and pray. Wow. Anyway, Koolu is one of the invited guests. He left Nigeria this morning and he arrived at Ghana this afternoon. So he's in Ghana, and then tomorrow they're going to do this swearing in for Mahama. And then the Ghanaians, but if you follow Ghana or Ghana's politics, but it's not different from that of the contraption Nigeria. It is also a country where uncompleted projects are being commissioned. Yeah, uncompleted projects, uncompleted road, poorly constructed infrastructures. Like they kind of see this Nana Akufo-Addo as a fraudulent government, a government of lies. Just everything you know about APC in Nigeria is what the Ghanaians are also facing as we speak. Their economy is in shambles. They are in so much debt. IMF is dictating what they should do and what they should not do, right? Borrowing and looting the money is also very much prevalent in Ghana. That Ghanaians are now more or less saying, man, what happened to them in 2016 should never have happened. You get like, some of you are saying, what happened in 2015 Nigeria, it will take you decades to recover from that. Similarly in Ghana, it is a sorry case, unfortunately. But yeah, this is the trajectory that the African countries are kind of being, led to, or led into. I mean, I should say, it's unfortunate. So finally, it shouldn't be finally though, but okay. So earlier today, Showore and Eni Ebe, remember that Aluta lawyer, they were on their way to Kirikiri, then to the magistrate court in Lagos, where they went to finalize the bail condition for C-King. Remember that C-King? The one that called out the police IG, Tifnumbu and Sonweku, right? That if you say anything, they will arrest you. Come and arrest me now. Come and arrest me. God punish you. The police men that are taking bribes and then, threatening the ordinary people on the street and extorting them. Now, I'm going to kill you, this and that. So he was picked up and they charged him for cyberbullying and terrorism or something like that, or treason, something like that. So he was granted bail But the court and the holiday, they couldn't really fulfill the bail conditions. So today, yeah, Showore was out. You saw the video I showed you earlier of those guys awaiting trial at the court, right? Yeah, it was around the same time on their way to Kirikiri and then after.
It's been a long, long day, guys. Oh man, we spent quite some time at magistrate court. We are just coming from another police station. And then we're heading to Kirikiri prison now to get seeking release after all the very, very ludicrous, burdensome, bureaucratic magistrate activity that almost made it impossible in the last 4 days. Just processing bail alone is nightmare for small cases. So here we have our ultimate lawyer, who is also serving as our driver today. we couldn't afford a driver.
The chief driver.
So the chief driver, we're heading to Kirikiri prison now. So we'll let you know. We're about 45 minutes from Kirikiri, and so we hope to be there soon, and we'll keep you updated. Thank you. All right, guys, now we are done for the day, hopefully. Finally got our man. Sick.
I'm outside.
Yeah.
The rumor is back. No water, no life. I won't now.
Oh dear. So yeah, Showore, the vintage Showore, always there to always give his own massive support to the victims of the system, as much as the supposed victims of the system also are always like willing to have him sacrificed, even killed by their oppressors, just because Showore is so annoying. It's too annoying. He has no respect, this and that. But whenever they are caught in the web, he doesn't even kind of see it that way. He just goes straight into the fire, try to get himself involved and get them out of it. Even though they are going to be out as well, still kind of call him out whenever they can, at every given opportunity. But yeah, that's where I'm going to leave it for now. The other stuff I have tonight can take us even maybe another 10 minutes. So I'll keep that for the next time. Okay. So thank you so much for joining me this evening. All right. So I'm going to take a short break now. Then I'll come back and then, take calls, maybe 2 or 3 calls before we call it a night. So Happy New Year. If you have to leave as well, remember, you need to like the broadcast before you go. But if you are still with us and you have 1 or 2 things to say, the line will be opened in a minute or 2.
You get it? Okay. If you don't get it, forget about it.
I have my first caller this evening, and here we go. Hello there.
Hello, Mayegu. Good evening.
Good evening to you. How are you, sir?
I'm all right. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. Go on.
Yes, sir. I want to be the early bird.
Well, you are
this evening.
You are the first caller in 2025. That's
yes. And then, like I used to say, anytime I called, I don't follow you live, but I used to. Your program used to be my breakfast because I don't follow it live. So if I don't finish it on my way to work, if I'm coming back, I will finish it. But this evening, I decided to leave everything I'm doing this evening to join you live. And it worked, and I'm very, very happy. And I am praying that God will continue to empower you, encourage you, so that you will be filling the gap. Because definitely you don't know what you are doing to our generation. And I know that God will continue to bless you and continue to bless your family.
Amen.
The last time I spoke with you, I brought the issue of Reuben Agbati. When he was causing his problem in River State, the issue between Werewike and Sim Fogbara, where he was trying to tell Fogbara, who is the governor of River State, how he should respect agreement and respect the president and things like that.
Yeah. Talking
so
about
I called
the peace deal that Tinubu offered them, that Fogbara should respect. Yes. I remember.
Yes. Very correct. So I called your attention. I said that you should beam your searchlight on that man called Reuben Agbati, because he is one of the problems of Nigeria, and he needs to be addressed and addressed quickly, most especially from your platform. And you've been doing a good job on him, and I think he is trying to learn his lessons. But there was something that happened of this written, which I want to bring to your table, and it's very, very important. And I want you to follow. I want you to follow it up. It's very, very important and very, very urgent. Because there has been a threat, most especially to those of us who are not living in Nigeria, who are criticizing what is happening in Nigeria. And the threat has been that you are out there saying it. And we are waiting for you there, down there in Nigeria. Anytime we see you in Nigeria, we will be there with you.
Yep.
So it happens to one of us who traveled to Nigeria this Christmas. And this lady lives in USA. He is this, she's a hustler. She's a hustler. And she don't hold bar. He give it to you the way you want it.
Yes.
And she is into anything that is on social media. At times she's into it for her own selfish gain. I am not his fan, her fan, to say, but I do listen to what she used to say at times. Of recent, she had an issue with somebody there in Nigeria. But let me tell you her name. You might have come across her. She is very popular on the social media. She's called Oge Njaka Okeke.
Okay.
She's so popular. Yeah, she's so popular on social media.
I think I do.
Yes.
Yes. Could that be that lady who some guys bust our hotel room and they were accusing her of raising money for IPOB or something like that? Was that same lady?
Yeah, that's the lady. Thank God that you have seen the video. Please, I want you to beam your satellite on her, because I was following the issue that brought out that particular thing that happened in her hotel room. That particular thing was a kidnapping. She was kidnapped. Because if you see Yes, if you see the man on the wearing orange cloth, who was saying something in our language, Igbo, he was the one that organized the kidnappers to come and kidnap that lady. And I don't know whether that lady is an American citizen because she has lived in America almost all her life.
Right.
Donald Trump should be aware of that. If she's an American citizen, American government need to come into it. That is pure kidnapping. Because I have been following what happened until it happened. She was threatened to come down to Nigeria by either October, November, December, because he had a problem with that young man called J-Pack.
Yeah, the man that was wrongly accusing her. In fact, what I read about the situation was that that man was accusing her of being the one raising funds to sponsor those who are killing people in the eastern Nigeria. A total make-up lie. I saw that, but just because I didn't have much details, that's why I didn't bring it up. And you are just raising that point right now. So tell me about it.
Please.
What's the real story?
So what? The real story is that, like I told you, she is a hustler. She is into everything. Even when Nnamdi Kanu, IPOB were on their top gear, she came into IPOB and wanted to use IPOB as a brand to make money and things like that.
Right.
And IPOB being what it is, they never allowed her own pattern of coming into IPOB. She backed out.
Right.
So she is into everything, all this skip making, a lot of things. Anything that she sees that she can use to make money, she will go into.
She's gonna
Yeah,
kind of like delve into. Okay.
She goes in. Yes. And that is how it is with the other man that he has problem called J-Pack Okwanyon. So anything that man sees,
make up a lie against her so as for her to get kidnapped that way, right?
Yes, they started having issues on the social media, and that lady is something else. If she comes on you, she will tear you into pieces. She messed that man, she brought that man to the level the man could not understand. So what happened was that man threatened that anytime he comes into Nigeria, that he's going to deal with him. And when she came into Nigeria, that man went to her hotel and kidnapped her. So please, you should use your platform.
I'm going to look for that clip, okay? And I'm going to kind of find out more on this so that maybe
please, it is very, very important because this lady is an innocent lady because a lot of people used to bully her because of what she said. And this man that is in question now has been, she is into everything, all these native doctors, all these socialites in Igbo land. He is their errand boy. That is what he is into.
Right.
So please, I am appealing to you to look into it. I don't want that lady to suffer in Nigeria because it was a bet. Come back to Nigeria. That they have been saying to us, come back to Nigeria and say all these things you are saying outside Nigeria.
If they born you well, come back here and say all these things you are saying. You're right. And Nigeria is a place that all they have to say is, you know, a friend once told me when I said I was going to Nigeria, okay, this friend said, yes, please, what are you doing? And I was like, but I didn't do anything. So I'm not a criminal. I've not done anything wrong. If anybody would think that I've done anything wrong, it would probably be that I insulted them, like Nigerians' ego and all that, right? And then you know what my friend said? My friend said, you don't even have to do, like, what are you talking about, guy? You don't even have to do anything before they can come for you, okay? You don't have to do anything. Once you are in that space, whatever you see, take it like that. And I was like, that is it. True. It's true. Anyway, Mazi, thank you so much for sharing this. Okay, I am going to dig.
Please, I will appreciate you to use this platform because a lot of us, if you look at the comment, a lot of people who knows that lady will actually be commenting now. And it will be very unfair if we can leave that lady who is saying something. I mean, that will not be better. Please, I am appealing to you
We'll
tonight.
kind of like, we'll raise alarm on this more. I promise. I would
It
do
is
my
very,
best
very
on
important.
this
It's very
and
important.
share it, okay? Mazi, thank you so much as well for sharing with us, right?
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. See, it is true that we have those in that contraption who knows that if you want to deal with anyone, especially the way they see us in the diaspora. I've had people who have said the Nigerians in Nigeria are comfortable with what they are facing. They are not complaining. It's you people abroad. You people abroad, you are the ones that want to destroy this country. Now you want to cause problem in this country. You are always the ones complaining and complaining about everything going on here. You stay abroad. You want to destroy Nigeria. These are mostly those who are working for government. So they are those who accuse us of trying to create a problem by exposing every rot that is taking place in that contraption. So they can accuse you of anything. I think I told some of my friends, I said, I'm actually not afraid of the people in government, right, using their influence to kidnap me. Because if anybody kidnap, because I don't want to use the word arrest now, if any of them kidnaps me, right, all of you will know where I am. You know, you would rather know if I am being taken to Abuja or I am locked up somewhere in Kirikiri or somewhere Shashe, you will know. But I kind of feel more concerned about those people who are the government supporters, all these low-life cretins, social media bandits, Facebook adsmen. These are those that take some of what we do here personal. They are the hateful lot that believes that something terrible has to happen to us so that they can use that as a leverage to say it is the consequences or consequences of you speaking out, okay? Like, loud mouth. You think say do you think because you have big mouth, Abi, will show you? I am kind of more concerned about them. I'm not worried about those in governments. I've never been worried about them. Or those who are their foot soldiers, those ones who believe that if this government should fall, their life is over. Because they have no life outside this government, this or government that, eating the crumbs they get from there. And to them, Nigerians are comfortable with that. Now they try to raise their expectation. Here is another caller. The Prince. Prince Adewale, the African Wahala. Is that you, Baba?
Yes, sir, my brother.
How are you?
Happy New Year to you. I'm doing very well.
Happy New Year, bro. Good to hear from you as well.
And you too. I just had to tap in, just be a part of the conversation and, just say what's up to you, say what's up to everybody in the Temple of Truth. And I also wanted to, just to piggyback on what you just said. God forbid if you get kidnapped by these terrorists, you stand a good chance. Someone like you are in a good place because you've gone all out. And it's one of the reasons why people like me appreciate you, right? Because you've gone all out. You're like, I don't care. I'm going all out, jumping into the deep end. You see, like that guy seeking, that young man seeking, he's the same. The guy went all out. That's why once he was kidnapped by those criminals, someone like Showore could come out and defend him.
That's right.
Same way someone like Dele Faro to me, he went all out against those criminals. And once he was kidnapped by those terrorists, people were able to rally around it. So in my opinion, for those of us that are still on the fence, we're not really ready to go all out yet. If you plan to step foot in the contraption, I recommend you go all out for like 2 years. Be known so that when you get to the contraption and you're kidnapped, people can come to your rally. But that's not why I called. I also wanted to mention Macron. Macron, so arrogant. He came out telling us that France has been the reason why we were developed. Although we are from the contraption Nigeria, but I'm talking about our neighbors, that France is the reason why they were safe. But if we all do our research, if we all do our quick research, each time you Google in the 90s, in the early 2000s, 2010, when you Google search the poorest countries in the world, you would always find Niger at the bottom, Mali, and Burkina Faso. Those were always the poorest countries in the world. So for 65 years after their independence, they maintained that fake relationship with France, and they remain the poorest countries in the world. So what do they have to lose if they kick France out, since they are already the poorest in the world after 65 years of relationship with France? But you see, Macron is so delusional, just like these Nigerian criminal terrorist politicians. They lie to themselves so many times that they start believing the lies. The lies become the truth. I'm telling you, when Tinubu comes out and says, "We are doing well," when Onofunuga, that baboon, when he comes out on Twitter and is ranting, "Oh, we are doing everything good. This country is the best in the world." They believe it. These criminals actually believe this stuff that they say.
They do.
You know? But it is what it is, my brother. I really just call to say hi to you, man.
African Wala. For those who are listening to us,
I'm telling you, man,
that makes them very dangerous. That means they are not, it's not, I mean, they are not only living in denial, they are forcing themselves to believe the lies, okay? To the point that those of you who wanted to point out their failure, they automatically tag you enemy. So now, that makes it dangerous in the sense that if you are doing something and you're not doing it right, there's a chance for correction. Sure, you get, there's a chance, there's a room for adjustment, okay?
Yes.
Say, you know what, let's adjust this thing. So, but they are not seeing any room. There's no room for adjustment because to them it's so perfect. And anybody who try to derail, anybody who says otherwise is trying to derail us. We must come for them. That makes them dangerous, man.
But you remember this guy that was wearing that red beret? I can't remember his name. He had that interview on Channels TV. He was talking about when Boko Haram was in the office, they would bring a newspaper about kidnapping. Dalong.
He's a
they will tell him. Yeah, former criminal. They will tell him stuff like, "Oh, people were kidnapped on Abuja Kaduna Highway." Boko Haram will be like, "Hey, is it true?" Because the idiots genuinely, and I'm not giving them an excuse, they all deserve to spend the rest of their lives in prison. These are criminals, terrorists. If you know you're in capital, you're not willing to read the newspaper by yourself, you're not willing to go on Google search as a president of a country, Boko Haram, why are you the president? If genuinely you don't know that people are getting kidnapped on Kaduna Abuja Highway, if genuinely, how come you are so lazy to go on Google and check out the news in the contraption?
But the guy even said, they have different newspaper for Boko Haram. He said, as you are buying the Nation newspaper, the content of the newspaper that you will buy from the news stand is different from the content of the newspaper they give to Boko Haram. I am still kind of like, is that even possible? Like,
it's unfortunate, my brother.
People get so imprisoned by the people they appointed to advise and work for them, to the point that they are giving you a different newspaper that's content is actually praising you. People are saying you are doing well. The country is so good. Like, could it be can they be so criminally that way? That is a thing. That's what he said. He said they are giving Boko Haram a different newspaper. I was like, oh, how is that possible? In Nigeria, everything is possible, man. It's
anything is possible, my brother. But you know, we'll keep. I don't want to say hoping. You know, I respect the people that are still fighting. I know I'll keep praying for you. Some of us will do what we can. And thank you so much, Mayego, for always bringing this to us. We appreciate you, man. Happy New Year, brother.
Happy New Year, man. Thank you so much again as well for stopping by, okay? The African Wahala. Here is another caller, but my caller, I'm gone. See, I quickly went to go and pick up on the video of that lady that Mazi, my first caller, said can be referred, the experience can be referred to as kidnapping, all right? A lady that is believed to be very vocal. According to the report I have here, right, the person that orchestrated her abduction when she got to Nigeria is called Governor Esioku, if I am right. Her own name, right, is Ogechi Njaka. So if I'm also right, here is the clip of that of that abduction.
This person, they won't come and you say, move this motor, let's go.
So, the real story that I got initially about that incident was that they had a social media spat where she entered the guy. This guy in
this person, they won't come and you say,
so the guy in orange, they had this spat on social media. So, and then he threatened her that if they're born and well, she should come to Nigeria. So when she got to Nigeria, this governor, what's he called? This governor Eziokwu, so, right, went to the police to go and say he has found, one of the fundraisers for IPOB is in the country. And he accused her of raising money for the unknown gunmen in eastern Nigeria. An allegation that is a falsehood. So this is all he needed to get the armed police guys to invade this lady's hotel. I've got other clips, including the invasion of our room in our hotel as well. So I am going to dig more on this, and I'm going to share this to help raise awareness on whatever this is all about at the end of it all, okay? Here is emoji. Hello, sir.
Good evening. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, sir. MOG. How you doing, sir?
I'm fine. And you?
Very well.
Much today, I've looked into, if I'll say I've looked left and right, front and back. I made up my mind. I think people have personal problem for Nigeria itself and Nigerians. One, first of all, he had problem with Nigeria, which he tried to destroy. He vowed that he would destroy, because if you remember, a few years ago, Tinubu wrote on paper that there's nothing like Nigeria.
So that he didn't believe in Nigeria since 1998.
He didn't believe in Nigeria, yeah. So, and when you dig deep about Tinubu, from his step and everything, Tinubu was working for Abiola, he was working for Abacha. And Mustafa Confession, there's a place he said, who are the Yoruba's elders they gave money when Abiola died? They never mentioned those names till now. Polite followed. Future Williams followed. What about this man? Yinka Odumeka. What in the name of? Yes, this one followed. They died mysteriously, all of them. So I concluded that now that I feel that Tinubu has a serious problem with Nigeria itself. Then coupled with Nigerians that insulted him, he now said, let me kukuma put all these people in one basket and because I don't see reason why, as old as Tinubu is, he can barely walk normal and still doing all this thing he's doing without thinking even that what if I sleep this night, if I didn't wake up, if I fall asleep as an old man, he see people suffering. Except like you said now, except they are giving him another newspaper or they are tuning cartoon for him in television. He's not seeing what is happening, or they took away all his phones. Like Africa Wahala said,
abusing him. Everywhere he goes, he tells people that they are abusing him. Even
they are abusing him.
Umba in Enugu, that see, I'm giving you governors more money. Even though people are abusing me, let them abuse me. All of you are enjoying the money. You are enjoying, I'm giving you more money now. He knows that they are, in his own case, I think he knows. Go on.
You see Mba, Mba is now under PDP working for APC. When you
Absolutely, yes.
look at the facial expression, he's caged already. If you watch a meeting before Tinubu's to Enugu, when the governors went to visit Tinubu for New Year, he saw Mba. Go watch the video. He's the same spirit, he's cold there. The same thing now. They visited you, cold, and you see this Benjamin, this house deputy speaker in a lower house. This guy from Abia State.
Yep.
Benjamin Carlo. You see the way he was telling Tinubu, as if he's the one that is hosting Tinubu. He's not the one hosting Tinubu. Tinubu was in PDP state. Why is he APC now saying he came before, he was standing before the governor that's supposed to be in front, like all these bye-bye sir, welcome sir, that line they used to stand for Tinubu. So Benjamin Kalu was in front. So that means they convinced Mba is already hoping, although they helped him to be there because he forged certificate and they mandated the army not to probe him when they wanted to. They stopped the court. They stopped everything. So Mba is under PDP now, working for APC. Everybody in Enugu State should know this. So Ludo is one step.
Another shocker that some of this people should be looking forward to is that of Alex Otti. He's also on his way to APC.
Alex Otti,
it's just a matter of time.
Alex Otti is there. What is Anambra State is already one leg in, one leg out. That's why he's talking anyhow, because they know that the judiciary will help them. So based on the thing, this thing you said about this woman, we know that this woman is vulgar. She talks anyhow on internet, and those boys are the people eating from the rich people. They are the errand boys of rich people. We know all these ones. But there's one
guys. Yeah.
But there's one thing that happened there, Mayegu, that made me worried. I don't want to talk about these people because I don't like them. I don't like them because the young men, we're only chasing rich people everywhere they go, shouting on the internet, causing trouble, talking like little children on internet. So I don't like them at all, both the lady. But there's something that happened there.
The guy that got the police to go and arrest her. No, it wasn't.
Yes, they are not police. Those people are not police, my
online. He got arrested by lying that she's the fundraiser for IPP because they know that that's easier way of, as they have turned out to be in that contraption. It's easier way to get rid of anybody you are suspecting.
That is exactly that's exactly what I want to say now. Because if you want those boys, they can do anything to get food. That's where the infrastructure, so much infrastructure, that's what they are. They can do anything to get money. For them to drop that statement, and those people are not police, it's kidnapping in a normal country. Because those people are vigilante. First of all, they kidnap her. They are not policemen. But that statement they drop to tell that these people are the same thing like DSS, are the same people like other people that are pointing hand at Igbo youth, killing them. When they are speaking, when they are doing anything, once these big men are not comfortable with it, they will hide under and send these stupid boys. For him to mention that statement, that means who knows how many people they have put the allegation on their head, and they took them. And they took them, disappear. So for them to say this thing about that lady, that means this is what they have been doing.
Anyway,
this is what they have been doing. That's what I want to say. Thank you so much.
Let me take another one because of our time, okay? Thanks for calling in as well, all right? So I have our first lady caller in 2025. How are you, ma'am?
Hi, I'm fine, Mario.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Yes, ma'am.
Our new chief of defense.
Oh, I mean, that one would be princess. I'm sharing positions right now so that, maybe I should make you the minister of humanitarian disaster and all of that so that, since if we compare poverty, they will ask us how many food banks have we opened to feed the poor?
Abby?
Nah.
You know, a lot of us, we one thing I've noticed about Nigerians is we want the messiahs. Somebody to go and fight that battle. We are not ready to get involved, you know,
and that is
like
why some
lose
people
anything,
want
but
to
he
see
wants
themselves
somebody
as
to be
messiahs
there
too.
to,
You know that?
yes,
The messiah,
exactly.
the messiah complex. You know, I'm trying to help all
Yeah.
of you. I'm trying to save you. My guy, come on, shut up. You can't even save yourself. You want to save me, or save us. That's why you see a lot of people around there like having that messianic complex and say, I'm just fighting.
It is, you know, well, it's because they have the followership. So, you know, and a lot of people, you know, I know they catch feeling. You understand? You know, I look at what the person is saying and I agree, you know, even you, Mayegu, there's sometimes that I don't agree with you, what you say, but I know, you know,
too,
yeah, yeah.
That's how
But
it should
the
be.
only
We are not
thing,
zombies. We are not
yeah,
robots.
exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
Go on, ma'am.
And the only reason I respect your platform is you give everybody a chance to view their own opinion.
That's right.
You know, and we're learning from you. You're learning from the Templars as well, and that's the way to do things. You know.
That's right.
So the main reason I actually I've been trying to cut him busy is that the tragedies that happened in Nigeria. You know, it is so unfortunate. We've lost about 100 lives, and life is just moving on, and everybody's just moving on to their own thing. You know, it's a shame. And the tragedy that happened in Ibadan, my thing is, where is the police there? Because my understanding, unless Nigeria is different from the other countries that work, my understanding is the police is responsible for crowd control.
Absolutely. But
because if you go,
they won't act except you pay
yeah,
them.
Yeah. Even here, they will pay you for the organizers pay. But the thing is, if you're gonna go have that kind of event, you have to present your contingency plan to the police. They will look at it. They are the ones to decide this is how many personnel you're going to need for security and all that. So my question is, what was the plan that they approved? You see, they're arresting the organizers and the principal, and to me, that's just a band-aid solution to the problem. Because the organizers are saying that they were expecting security to be there by 8 o'clock. They have like 200 security personnel, including police officers. So, which tells me the police was aware of this thing. They actually assign officers to be there, because how would they have police to come to that event if the police department did not approve it? You know, and one of the departments of your state's government was also aware of it. I think that maybe the Department of Women Affairs or something. I think they said the commissioner, was telling the Olori that, okay, they are part of this and all that stuff. So that tells me that thing went through the police. Okay, now this happened.
The approval that there was needed.
Yeah.
That, implementation of that approval was what really messed things up.
Exactly. So, yeah, but they first came out and said they were not aware of it. And I'm like, what?
I know.
What do you mean? How can you come out and say that? Even for saying that inspector of that area should be fired immediately. I mean, like, they should fire him immediately. What are you talking about? You mean an event that was published on local media? They announced this thing on local radio for days. And it's not only Agidigbo. From what I heard, from other radio stations announced this thing. It event that hundreds of thousands of the residents of your locality are aware of. thousands of people are going to participate in, and you not come out and say you were not informed. Man, that police chief should go. He should have been fired immediately like that, you know. And if they had looked at it as their own failure, like, how did we drop the ball here? Let's even assume that, let's give them a pass that they didn't know that there will be a stampede. Okay, when the Ibadan thing happened, in my own opinion, I don't even see how you will tell me you don't know that stampede will happen. In Nigeria, where stampede was happening for distributing bread, that alone shows you that if something like that's going to happen,
they said people have been there overnight. That alone should have sent a security threat to deal with
there you go. Like,
we have this
for you now to for you now to move the security ahead further to say, okay, instead of us being there at 8 o'clock, then we will have to be there by 5, 4, you know, to maintain, you know, to control the crowd there. And if they have done that, now they would have known that, okay, we need to do better for this kind of situation. They would have prevented the one that happened in Anambra and the one that happened in Abuja. Because now they would have known that, okay, there's going to be a stampede. They would have sent memo all over the country to say, okay, you need to prepare better if you have this kind of event that's going to happen in your locality, right? And they would have brought personnel there. Yeah, maybe earlier, and if they don't have enough personnel, they would have at least the military and take the soldiers there with their kobokos. And you know Nigerians to be well behaved when they see soldiers, you know. So, and also the parents, you know, Nigerian children are abused. Nigerian children are just abused, and nobody is there to fight for them. No. That's just it. Because the safety of a child is the responsibility of the parents first. And where you fail in that responsibility, you will answer to the law. That's when the government steps in. In this country that we live in, and I know that it's the same thing in UK.
It is.
Yeah. It is. If you took your children,
the protection of that child is our responsibility. Yes. We have to answer if it goes wrong.
If you take your children to children's carnival and drop them off there, or just your playground there, and you just leave those children and say, I'll come and get you in 2 hours, what's going to happen to you?
Well, number one, it will take the grace of God for you not to lose the custody. For
you to get that children back. Exactly.
For it.
Yes.
If anything goes bad.
So for every child that lost his or her life in that event or got injured, they should investigate the parent or the guardian of that child. Where were you when this thing happened? Because if for a child to be stampeded to that, then the parents should be severely injured in that thing. Because if that stampede happened in this country and the child died, you will see that the parents is injured if the parent is not even also killed in that event. You know. So all these things that I know, you can be a victim and a perpetrator at the same time.
Yes, you can.
At the same time, you can be. If you put a child in a car that's supposed to be in a car seat, and you fail to put that child, fasten that child in a car seat, somebody hits you in the back, and the impact
for manslaughter if anything happens to that child.
Threw that child out of that. Insurance will pay you money like for the damage and everything else, but you will go to jail for endangering that child's life.
Exactly. Well, lady, thank you so much because of our time as well. Okay, it's such a pleasure hearing from you, especially this what you've done this evening, and I bet a lot of people agree with you. Thank you so much.
All right, bye, Marie. Thank you.
Enjoy the evening as well. I have another caller. I think this must be.
All right, bye.
Charles.
Good evening, Maegu.
Good evening, ma'am. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I know it's.
I know.
You
made it to this time, and it's great that yeah, we are here. You know, like that's what I told everyone. In January, so on the 1st, I said to those of us who made it through, right? It seems like it's not a big deal, but it is. Okay, the year of our Lord, they call it.
It is.
Every time we had that crossover,
it is, my brother.
There are many things that we possibly just escaped, like consciously, unconsciously. But here we are, strong,
honestly,
firm, and still focused. Charm.
Yeah, firm and still very focused and not delusional, but regards to our situation.
You
know, so
we don't look like what we have been through. So that's why we have to say congratulations that you made it. Thank God, yeah, you know.
Thank God, Joe. Thank God for you too. Thank God for the Templars.
Thank you so much, Charm. Please.
There's so much I want to talk about. You know, yesterday you had the whole program, and there were things that I really wanted to talk to you about.
Right.
But before I even get into the main reason why I called, you see, I like the lady that spoke before me. You know, she's very empathetic. You know, really concerned about the children and all of that. But when she says something, when she now asks like, oh, the police and all the wraparounds that you should have regarding hosting such an event and things like that, it makes me understand that she really doesn't understand the Nigerian situation. We don't have a police. We don't have a police. Nigeria is not a country. If Nigeria was a country and it was defined and the citizens understood what it meant to be a citizen of a place, and the security officers understood their remit as security officers, and we had, people who understood what the wraparound is, when you're given a role or an institution and things like that. Nigeria is not a real place. When you start to understand that Nigeria is not a real place, then you stop having expectations around police, and especially the kind of police that we have in Nigeria. The ones that slap people for fun, the ones that kill people for fun, the ones that will throw people in jail for the heck of it. That's not a real place. You don't have a real police. So, I think with regards to what has happened to the organizers and everything, you can only pray that somehow they get out of it. But as long as you're living in Nigeria, this is the reality. It's not a real place. You don't have a real police. No. So saying no, you have to submit your request and they tell you this or that. That's not America. That's what you do in a civilized country. That place is not a civilized place. It's not a real place. So let's stop having any expectations. Let's stop, putting
if you don't have expectation of them, you will have no disappointments.
You have no disappointment.
When you expect something from them and then they turn out the way it normally turns out, you are so disappointed, heartbroken. And I don't think anybody should get themselves into that. I mean, to that experience, like breaking your heart.
When you understand exactly what Nigeria is, right? You stop having expectations. When people say, oh, let's talk to the government. What government? Tinubu's government, an illegal entity. Yep. You want to talk to them to do what exactly? To do anything that would, take the remit away from them. That's not going to happen. Let's stop saying things like that. Let's start talking about how we will go for, like somebody was talking about, people expecting a Messiah. And that's what I see a lot of people doing, right? Okay, who is going to do it? Oh, who is going to do that? Who is going to? Nobody is going to do anything.
People used to see, Charm. People used to ask me when I talk about all these things, right? Then they will come here and say, "How many people have you helped, Mayegu? You always come here and condemn government and in your village. How many borehole have you given to them? How many road have you constructed?" I was like, why should I be the one to construct borehole when you are supposed to have the public water provided by the government? Why should I fix a road? Like, what are you even asking me to provide a road? Like, people kind of say that because to them, they have this mentality where they say
the government is supposed to work.
They say that to them all the time. They say government can't do everything. We should. That's why you see their politicians. They will steal money meant for healthcare, okay? And then they will now start giving donations to people who can't pay hospital bills. You get that now? They will steal the money that could provide healthcare for hundreds or thousands of people, or fix the road, only to become a charitable man, philanthropist.
That he's a philanthropist, and you give him all these titles, like give him all these.
Why should the politician give him scholarship? If a system actually provides for quality, accessible education for me and my children, why do I need to go to anybody to come and give me scholarship?
It's like the 1+1 is not, or rather, let me say, yeah, the 1+1, just the basic understanding of a thing is, is lost on the Nigerian, the Nigerian people. It's almost as if they have this, I don't know how to put it, just the beggarly attitude, like, oh, they're having mercy on me, when this is something that is entitled to, you're entitled to as a so-called. But again, like, something Jennifer to me always says, Nigeria is not a real place. We can't call yourself a citizen because the place has not been defined, and that brings me nicely back to Macron. If there's any country that I hate with the depth of my heart, and I use the word hate because I don't know what other emotion to have towards that country called France. I've always had the feeling, just this notion that France is even worse than a third world country that is masquerading as a G7. If you take away all the African countries and all the, their lecherous, the way they've held on to African countries like ticks. If you've ever seen a tick and how it attaches onto, the scalp, right? That is exactly how France is. They are not wealthy by any means. The only wealth they have is the wealth of African countries, and that is the money. That is the wealth that they've stolen by, ensuring that those continue to remain poor, illiterate, and unable to
generation to
exactly
generation.
From generation to generation. How do you explain?
Like, think they are doing us a favor. If not because of us, you would have been worse off. I say, what do you mean?
See,
they are worse off.
Maigu, you know what? Macron's view is really the view of a lot of Europeans. You will be surprised. It's the same view of majority of Europeans you have in Europe, right? Their view is that they are doing Africans a favor. The fact that you are here in their country, you better be grateful for, for us allowing you to be here, for us giving you this visa, and everything, for you to come and stay and breathe the same air that we breathe, and things like that. They have that mentality. And in fact, I was speaking to my sister. She was saying to me that she encountered an elderly British woman, right, who told her that Nigeria and most African countries are still the property because the British Empire encapsulates these colonies and we still belong to them. And I said to her, what did you say in response to that? She said that that the woman is almost dying. That she responded to her, the woman died. They will not come to arrest her. That she have to leave the woman alone. But we laughed about it. But
they want to kill somebody by the word of mouth.
She didn't want to kill somebody. But we laughed about it, right? But I sat down and I thought about it. She's right. Funny enough, that British woman, as delusional as she is right. Mayegu, did we really fight for our freedom? Let us tell ourselves the truth. Did we really battle the West or the Europeans for our own country?
No, we didn't.
Nigeria did not fight for the country. We didn't fight. Exactly. So when they say what they say, they know what they're talking about. Because when you fight for your country, when you fight for it and you fight for it in a way that you take it away from them, and they know that they have no claims to you, you will move differently. You see, as Nigerians, we're not moving differently. We're moving exactly the way they want us to move. Yes. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. When you say things like, France is the one, funding those terrorists, I believe you me, they are the ones funding those terrorists. Those areas that you have resource-rich communities where you have terrorists that have taken over, listen, the terrorists are not doing anything with those resources. There's somebody that is taking those resources. Yes, therefore, it is only easy for you to put two and two together is that they are being funded by whatever entity those resources are being beneficial to, okay? And they are not Nigerians. They are foreign, whether it's China, whether it's America, whether it is France,
Saudi Arabia, UAE, and the rest
Saudi
of them,
Arabia,
all
whatever,
investors
exactly.
in this whole,
all those investors, they are the ones funding those terrorists. So nobody should come on Maygo's platform and say, oh, Macron, they are not the ones funding. They are the ones. They are the ones that funded those terrorists. They are the ones that ensured that those terrorists became a nuisance. And if you remember at the beginning of when Niger was fighting this battle with France, they said that every time they moved to end those terrorists, there was always order from above that somehow they will not let them finish these people off, which was to the frustration of the Nigerian army, which is why they did what they did.
That's why they overthrew the Bazoum.
That's why that's true, exactly, because that government, they knew exactly where their problem is coming from. And it was from the puppet master and the puppets that put it there and won't allow them to do the thing they're meant to do. No. Nobody is the fact that Niger has grown its GDP by 10% is underreported. Nobody is saying that the country is on the.
They still continue to wage a media war against them to make them look so bad. Unfortunately, the reality in their country is different to what the outside media is saying about them.
To what the West and the media is saying about them. Yeah. Their country is on the right trajectory. Take, for example, Argentina and Malay, right? That country is also on the right trajectory, but guess what? The West will never let you know because they want this propaganda of, African countries that are
their own choosing puppets, right? Then definitely
they're not their own chosen puppets.
Project evil hand for it's unfortunate.
And I think a lot of us need to start understanding that the agenda of the West towards Africa is a racist agenda. They continue to sell that belief that Africans and Black people cannot manage their resources, cannot manage their spaces, so they need the so-called messiahs to come and step in and help us. But they're not helping us, they're only killing us. Yeah. So people need to start understanding what the trick is, what the plan is. The plan has never been to make anyone, prosperous. No. The plan has always been for us to be where we are.
Making us prosperous. This
they would have done it a long time ago.
West African countries should probably be like so developed than even the English-speaking West African countries. But the story is the same.
But this is the story that we have. I know that we've run out of time. There's a lot I wanted to touch on, but I guess other people are going to call in.
Sometimes you wouldn't know that you've actually been speaking for over 12 minutes. It's been a while as well. It's such a pleasure hearing from you. Okay, we will always continue from where we stop. All right.
All right, Michael. Thank you so much.
Enjoy the rest of the evening. Okay. So I have one more caller. He's been trying to get through this while. That's Adiola. Are you there?
Quick one. I know we'll talk too much. I will probably just give a follow-up to what Cham said.
It's good.
It's just a very quick one. When she mentioned about the conversation with the white lady saying that he's still like the UK's prime property, and if you look at it critically, if they call you a property, it means that anyone residing in that territory is marked as a chattel. So a chattel is a property. You have no rights. You have no inalienable rights to be human. You're a chattel. You're just a common good that they can trade here and there. So that is just the interpretation of what she has said, that the white woman, and she's
really, we are not citizens, we are subjects.
No, you can't. See, you are not subjects. Michael is lower than
just now.
It's a chattel. It was your property, because if someone says he owns a territory, that means everything in that territory, plus the resources and human beings that work on that land thereon, they are chattel. And chattel has no inalienable rights. Nothing. You have no rights. You are just a slave. You are something that can be used and be disposed of. And if they hold that view, if someone still holds that view dearly, then there's a problem, Michael. And there are probably like 3 or 4 steps in trying to restore dignity. First of all, demolish the 1999 Constitution. Second thing, abolish that name Nigeria. Third, cancel Independence Day, because there's nothing like Independence Day, because no one can tell you they gave you independence. That is your right. You did not go begging. You were not in the ports of Liverpool begging them for resources or anything. So they are the ones that are dependent. So those are the 3 other: cancel the National Constitution, restore back the one that was amended in 1962, destroy that in Nigeria, and cancel independence. That would restore your thinking. You start thinking clearly as a human being that we're not chattels. We are human beings. We have a territory and we have identity. Baba, good night, sir. God bless you, sir.
That is Adeola. Also, here is the Prince Adebayo from Sweden. You,
my king,
the Prince.
I didn't even know that. I heard you saying the last caller. Let me just try.
Yeah, then it did me a very good favor by kind of like shortening what he had to say without us having to extend it. So that gave room for an extra, and that's you. How are you, Baba?
Thank you. I'm fine, my king. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Baba. It's really good to hear from you. Okay, please.
Yes, it's really good to hear your voice this New Year. You know,
thank you.
Anytime that this lady, what's her name? Cham. Anytime she talks, it's just like I don't have anything to say again because she says it all. You know, when she was just spitting her mind, it was just she was just like she was reading my mind. You know, Baba, we need a small section of your program to be hammering on the racism that is going on in Europe and how our African leaders are not getting it. You see, every day their politics is about how to deprive immigrants of their rights. Every day, like here in Sweden, every day they are almost their immigration minister who's always coming up with one thing or the other to make life hard for immigrants. Now, students who are going to school here, they can't even get jobs because they've stopped up the cleaning jobs, all the dishwashing jobs. They've increased the minimum wage to the extent that they cannot even get those jobs to support themselves. How can somebody use Naira?
They have to hence also amount of money or go back to their countries.
Yes, exactly. How can somebody use Naira to come and school in Europe? And then after schooling, you go back to work in Nigeria, where you have not recouped. You use Naira, you're exchanging Naira to Euro and pounds to study. Whereas you don't have hope.
Tens of millions of Naira now.
Tens of millions. They're making life hard and they don't want you to stay so that you not increase the number of immigrants, so that the votes will be less, so that they'll be using their racist votes to be winning elections. All the policies is against, and whereas these people, all of them, all the raw materials that they're using for their production in Europe, you know, Africa cannot produce because it's their hidden law that they must not let Africa be industrious. So all the raw materials, they're getting it for cheap from Africa to Europe and this other country, all their allies. That is why they are manufacturing. That's why they have electricity. They have industries. If all these leaders in Africa have sense, if they have sense and be doing policies also that can make these people stop punishing foreigners, Africans will be coming here to study, but they don't have hope to work because every day the politicians are stiffening the laws. It's not only Nigeria that the problem.
I mean, this is it. When we talk more about this and bring it to bear like this, okay, we do not know who is listening, and then what they are capable of doing. Or again, we will not cry in front of those that will not beg us, because at the end of the day, the whole thing rolls back to the criminals who are like their puppets in our country where we come from. Okay, if not that we have a criminal puppets back in where we come from, this conversation shouldn't even be happening. Okay,
it will not be happening.
The continent with the mineral resources that is feeding their industry is not industrialized. So we should blame them or the criminals in charge of that place. Okay, we have had those who have told us again that when all of us in the diaspora, whenever we are tired, we will go back and face those monsters that are holding us down in our different countries. And I think probably we are almost at that stage now.
Getting to that stage.
Thank you so much for calling in. Okay, let me take this one more. And I think I have an idea of what Princess is coming in to add. Princess.
Hello, Michael. Good evening. How are you?
Good evening, ma'am. I'm very well, though. Happy New Year.
Yeah. I wish you the same, Baba.
Great.
I
Quick one.
was telling, yeah, we had this conversation sometimes ago, and we were like, I was like, freedom is not given. Like Shan said tonight, it is not. If you don't fight for something, you don't just get it. Freedom is not given, it is taken. The Bible even said it, the kingdom of God suffered violence, and violence taken it by force.
That's right.
Mayegu, there was the Yoruba country. There is a book. I typed this in the comment section tonight. There was the Yoruba country, yeah, and somebody wrote one Anna something. I can't really remember her surname. Wrote about the 17 years in Yoruba country. It was written in 1951. 33 years short of the Berlin Conference. It was written in 1851. 33 years short of the Berlin Conference of 1884 to 1885. So we should let our people know they have history. We should let our people know their own history and don't allow Westerners to write their histories for them. If you have anybody in government now, and France is coming around, to caress them, they are not liberators. I have said it times without number. The only independent country in Africa as we speak at the moment is Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. We are dealing with puppets that are owned by puppeteers, and that is what is going on right now. So people should read, know what is right. Ronukus will not see anything about it. Majority of Ronukus are Gen Z and some foolish adults in there that know the right thing to say, but they will say the majority. But you see, Yoruba country, I'm a Yoruba country has been there. We had a civilization. It was from the western part of Nigeria before they merged us with Nigeria. It was from the western part of Nigeria all the way to Dahomey. You cannot tell me my
conference. They have put a saw into that, and then they matched strange people together, people of different culture, language, background, tradition, and the rest of that. And they want us to actually form a country.
My agreement when they were building their building of Babel, what was the only thing God used in separating them, in destroying them? When they were building that building, they said in the Bible they were building towards heaven. No be language. And we sit down here, they rose. Made them they play one Nigeria.
Thank you so much, Princess. Thank you very much for stopping by. Our time is now fast spent, and I appreciate everyone's contribution. Okay, it's an interesting evening, and to those who joined us maybe late, don't worry, you can rewind this and watch it again. And also, you can also look forward to the parts of this broadcast when it is premiered tomorrow morning. Thank you so much for your time. Please, so those of you who haven't really paid your own offering, your offering is to like this broadcast, like it and share it. I am going to see you again tomorrow. Hopefully, I'll see you tomorrow afternoon. Hopefully. And if I don't, then I'll see you tomorrow evening. Okay. Thank you so much for your time. Enjoy the rest of the evening. And from this part, we're saying good night. Odaro.
Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun dayari Mayegun nàmbà wá. Mayegun làwa mọ̀ láwọn tó dòdòdò. Máyégún dáyàrí náà ibi nọ́mbà wán. Máyégún ti dé o ọ̀rẹ́ ará ìlú. Máyégún dáyàrí náà ibi nọ́mbà wán. Lórí Facebook lórí YouTube. Máyégún dáyàrí náà ibi nọ́mbà wán. Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Máyégún já wa sí. Máyégún dáyàrí náà ibi nọ́mbà wán. Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o. Máyégún dáyàrí náà ibi nọ́mbà wán. Bó bá ṣe eré àní Máyégún máa wí. Máyégún dáyàrí náà ibi nọ́mbà wán. Ó sì tún ṣe eré wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o. Máyégún dáyàrí náà ibi nọ́mbà wán. Máyégún dáyàrí politico. Máyégún dáyàrí náà ibi nọ́mbà wán. Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Máyégún. Máyégún dáyàrí náà ibi nọ́mbà wán. Ẹ farabalẹ̀ sẹ́ o kẹgọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu o. Máyégún dáyàrí náà ibi nọ́mbà wán. Àní Máyégún làwa mọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Máyégún dáyàrí náà ibi nọ́mbà wán. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Máyégún ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Lórí Facebook. Máyégún ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Lórí YouTube. Máyégún ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Bọ́ bàbá gbé wúrẹ́. Máyégún máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Ijó ìgbádìyẹ. Máyégún máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Pẹ̀sìdó bá rúfin o. Máyégún máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Gómìnà kówó jẹ. Máyégún máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Ọlọ́pàá ti ń gbà rìbá. Máyégún máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Aṣòfin tí ń rúfin o. Máyégún máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Òpùrọ́ olóṣèlú. Máyégún máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran o. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran. Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ o. Máyégún ó sọ pé wọ́n ò fẹ́ bẹ̀. Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀. Máyégún ó sọ pé wọ́n ò fẹ́ bẹ̀. Oníkan ṣáàtì ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe fáwọn ará ìlú tó gbé wọn débẹ̀ o. Àyè. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran. Kì máa yí ṣeré, ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣẹ̀fẹ̀. Kì máa yí ṣeré, ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣẹ̀fẹ̀. Ẹni bá ti lè lẹ́bọ̀ lẹ́rù o, ọmọ bá dèrò kàṣàyè tú wọn síta. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran. Tẹnitẹni ọmọ Máyégún ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni. ó fọlọ́run ṣọ́ ẹ̀ bá kìlẹ́bù lóòótọ́ olódodo ìlú ọ̀tá ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni ìwọ ṣá máa ń ṣọ́ra kò sì mọ́ bẹ̀rù bọ́tà ń lè rí bóníṣègùn lé káwọn mọ̀mọ́ fi ṣera wọn ni ó ti dẹrùn tí wọn ò gbọ́dọ̀ sè mọ́bẹ̀. èèpo ọ̀gọ̀ lọmọ bá dérò tàjẹ́ ò gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ ó ti dọba lórí àbínú ẹni kò sì mọ́ bùyà àìsíwọ́lu ní ẹnìkẹ́ ìgbódì ẹyin lábàrá o ó kó ẹni tó bá dán o ákàmù máyé ń ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ túnra kì Mayegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ túnra kì o ẹni bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dèrò òní fi wọ́n níran o.
Mayegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ túnra kì. Mayegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ túnra kì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.